Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed live from Los Angeles. I'm Jamie Maggio here with Greg Jennings, Chris Broussard, Rob Parker. Good morning, guys. I don't know who decided it was a good idea to let us run the show for a week, but here we are. Happy
We promise
Monday.
not to burn down the show the next week. All right, we'll be here.
Gonna be a lot of fun. Can't
fun.
wait.
No doubt about it.
All right. And don't take this personal, guys.
Oh, no.
Just
Chris, you
enjoy
know
it.
that every day on the radio, we'll still be buds after it's all done.
I like how we come.
Jamie, I'm going to help you keep these flames.
Keep them in line. Thank you. I could use all the help I could get. Guys, let's start with the popular topic, the Los Angeles Lakers. They had a huge win in Boston last week, but it did not carry over yesterday against the Sixers. LeBron was an assist shy of a triple-double. Kyle Kuzma dropped 39, but they were still blown out 143-120. The Lakers defense continued to struggle, and it's the second time this season they've allowed 143 points. Joel Embiid led the way for Philly with 37 points and 14 boards. The Lakers are now 2.5 games out of a playoff spot in the West with just 26 games left this season. Chris, let's start with you. Are you worried about the Lakers maybe not making the playoffs?
Playoffs?
Playoffs.
Not at all. And there's two words that give me assurances that the Lakers will definitely make the playoffs. LeBron James. I mean, seriously. And this is all based on him staying healthy. The only reason this is even a question, obviously, is because he missed 17 games. If LeBron James is healthy, Lakers fans, listen to me. They will definitely make the playoffs. There's other reasons, too. Number one, the 8th-seeded L.A. Clippers. They don't even want to make the playoffs, okay? They lose their draft pick this year to Boston if they miss the playoffs or if they make the playoffs. So it's only lottery protected. So they don't even want to make the playoffs. They just traded away two of their starters, Tobias Harris and Avery Bradley. And Tobias Harris, of course, was their leading scorer, okay? And even when they had those two starters, they had gone 15-19 over the last 2 months. So they weren't not even playing good basketball when they had their better players. Now they've traded them away. They're not trying to make the playoffs. They've got every incentive to fall out. They're only 2.5 games ahead of the Lakers. And, oh, by the way, those teams play again twice. So if the Lakers just beat them head-to-head, they'll be doing themselves a favor. Sacramento right now is in the 9th seed. They're 2 games ahead of the Lakers. They're young. I'm not betting on De'Aaron Fox and Marvin Bagley to outdistance LeBron James in a run for the playoffs. Then you've got the Lakers, okay? Remember, when they had LeBron James before he got hurt, they were 6 games above 500. Now, right now, the Clippers are, as I said, the 8th seed. They're on pace to win 45 games. The Lakers, to get to 45, if it even takes that much, the Lakers just need to go 17-9. Check out their next 6 games. Atlanta, 6 of their next 8 games. Atlanta, New Orleans twice, Memphis, Phoenix, and the Clippers. Those are some of the worst teams in the league. And again, half of them don't even want to make the playoffs. Okay, so I'm telling you, not only will the Lakers make the playoffs, they will be in the top 8 by March 4th, because that's when that last game of that stretch is. So Lakers fans, relax. LeBron, he's not going to get you a championship this year, but he will get you into the postseason.
I'm not one of those guys to say press the panic button, but panic if you're a Lakers fan. Chris, all the stuff, I heard everything you said, but you left out a lot of stuff, including that the Clippers don't want to make the playoffs, right?
Right.
But they're in Boston and have one of the most incredible comebacks in their history. That sounds like a team that doesn't want to make the playoffs. Then you talk about, the Lakers were playing great when they had LeBron. I got news for you. LeBron played against Indiana, and there was no Oladipo, and they got blown out. LeBron played against the 76ers, and they got blown out. Then
Sounds
you say,
like a prisoner of the moment.
no, it's not. And then you talk about, wait a minute, they got these bad teams coming up. Oh, that sounds good. But this Laker team also lost to the Knicks at home, Cavaliers at home.
LeBron playing in
No,
those
it doesn't.
It doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
No.
The best player in the world doesn't matter?
What I'm telling you is that they've had stinkers.
The best player in the world doesn't matter?
Now they're painted in such a corner. They can't afford to lose 1 or 2 of those games, and otherwise they're going to be in dire straits. That's how tight of a corner that they're painted in. They don't have leeway to lose 1 or 2 of those games, those easy games that you're talking about. This team against the good teams this year, 12-19 against teams over 500. And when you talk about defensively, they are 23rd in the league in points allowed.
What are they in defensive efficiency?
I don't
12th.
I don't go through
Points
that.
allowed
I'm talking
doesn't
about
matter.
points allowed.
Doesn't matter.
So all I'm saying to you is, and the teams that are right underneath them are the Knicks, the Pelicans, and the Suns on points allowed. So this is not a really good basketball team. Even with LeBron, this is not a good enough team to be able to say, oh, yeah, just put LeBron on. In the Eastern Conference, Chris, I'm with you. That's why LeBron went to 8 straight finals. This is the Western Conference. There's going to be games that the Lakers are going to lose that you'll be like, oh, I didn't think they'd lose that game at Memphis or some other place. So all I'm saying is it's not guaranteed, Greg, that they're going to make the playoffs. Kobe missed the playoffs during his prime. This is going to be one of those situations where LeBron James, because this unit isn't good enough. When LeBron was missing, they were 6-12. All they had to do.
He's not missing anymore.
No, and they just lost to Indiana and Philadelphia is my point.
They were in a
did
funk.
lose. No, it's
Trade
no funk. They're
they
not
weren't in a
good.
trade deadline funk.
They're not good.
How'd they beat Golden
How
State
did they
if they're
lose to
not good?
Philadelphia?
How'd they beat Golden State?
What do you mean?
They beat Golden State on Christmas Day.
You know how long ago that was?
Yeah, Christmas Day.
That was almost a month ago.
You brought up the Knicks and the Cat, Greg.
All I'm telling you is that
Teach, please.
this team is not as good as
Please.
people want to make it out, even with LeBron James. And that's my point. They're on the brink.
Rob,
this season is on the brink.
I don't think you're understanding the question.
I
Because
do understand.
You're trying to make it seem like we believe that this is the best Lakers team ever
Thank
assembled because of LeBron James. That's number one. That's not the question. That's not how we feel. But to answer the question.
Answer the question.
Yes, the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. No, they don't need to be worried because your point, they have LeBron James. Tell me this, right? When's the last time LeBron James missed the playoffs?
Was he playing in the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference?
This
When's
isn't
the-
your
This is
typical
what I'm
West.
asking
Hold on,
you.
the West
That's
isn't
what I'm
what it
asking
used
you.
to be.
So-
what are you talking about?
not.
They're in the 10th place.
I kind of figured you was going to say that. Last year, this time the Lakers were in the same position, but they had 5 fewer wins and 5 more losses. When I look at them right now, they're in this position, and they were without LeBron James. So think about what I'm saying. And he's missed 17 games. This Laker team has been performing better this year than last year, and they're in the same position without LeBron James. So moving forward, now you have LeBron James for the remainder of your season, pouring into these young guys. Yes, they have to galvanize. He's going to galvanize that locker room. He has to because of what transpired throughout
you
the trade.
seen what's
Listen to what I'm
going
saying.
on?
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to his
I'm
conversation
listening.
with his guys. Guys, matter of fact, stay down. Let your guys come and get you up. Let your players, let your brothers come and pick you up because he understands I'm going to need these guys to know I'm all in on them because they have to be all in on me. I need them to play at the highest level that they've ever played at under the most pressure that they will ever be under this year. And I think when you look at the landscape of what LeBron James has been able to do, last year with the Cleveland Cavaliers, at this point in the season, we were talking about, oh my goodness, the Cleveland Cavaliers, what are they gonna do? They had just acquired all these other players, and it didn't look great. Or it looked great before the All-Star break, and then it looked terrible. But all of a sudden, what happened?
But
LeBron James had those guys buy in, and they went on a run, and they went to the finals.
There's no reason to believe that those guys who LeBron was shipping out of town just a couple days ago are going to automatically fall in line. If anything, if you look at the 3 games since, and I know they got the win in Boston on the great shot.
But you gonna
by
just
Rondo.
poo-poo that one.
No, I'm not poo-pooing that. They won the game.
They just
But
beat
I'm-
another good
But I'm
team.
looking at the other thing is what you're saying is the problem I have is the Western Conference is different. And last year between 3 and 8 was a separation of 2 games. They have painted themselves in such a corner they have no wiggle room. and you're asking these guys to be the best that they can be and LeBron to be the best that he can be just to make the playoffs. I'm telling you, one or two bad nights will wreck the whole season.
Yeah, but they may lose to a team they should lose to, but they'll beat a team.
No, they won't.
They weren't supposed to beat Boston. They weren't supposed to beat Golden State. You can go on down the line. They've had good wins over all these playoff teams, and you keep talking about the West like this was last year or 5 years ago. The West, if you haven't been paying attention, is not what it was a year ago.
All right, so why aren't the Lakers in the playoff picture?
Many of the other,
why aren't they
because LeBron James missed 17 games,
but
and Rajon Rondo has missed
34.
Something.
Look at the easy games that they lost when LeBron wasn't here.
But he's here now.
But they just lost 2 out of 3.
He's not Avery Bradley. It's not like bringing in Montrezl Harrell. This is LeBron James. What are you talking about?
LeBron played in Indiana. They got blown out.
You're bringing
Did they get blown out in Indiana? I'm asking you. Did Oladipo play?
Did you not watch?
They got blown out.
First of all,
I watched the game.
First of all, everybody knew they were in a funk.
Did you?
They weren't demoralized.
Sure?
Yes.
Rob.
You knew that after the final score, but you didn't know that going into the game.
Stop it, Rob.
The games were all on.
Everybody thought that they were out of the picture. And so you asked these guys to come together after finding out, okay, we need you. So can you come play tonight?
So now they're going to come back together now?
Because they have to.
And
it's not just about them doing it for the Lakers. They have to do it for themselves. They have futures. These guys aren't some pickup basketball players at the park.
Maybe they're not good enough, Greg. That's my point.
Is Kyle Kuzma not good enough? Kyle Kuzma's not good enough?
Lonzo's still hurt. They don't need
Lonzo. Newsflash. No.
Okay.
They got LeBron James and Rajon Rondo.
Magic Johnson said they were going to hang his jersey from the rafters.
That same Magic Johnson was ready to ship him out.
Exactly.
Now you're telling me
times have changed.
You don't need him at all.
That's 2 years ago. Seriously.
He didn't say how he was going to hang the jersey from the Raptors.
And LeBron isn't even back to 100%.
And there's another thing.
He'll be back?
Are you sure?
He'll get close.
And you hope that LeBron doesn't have another injury.
Of course. He gets injured.
The groin is an easy thing to re-injure, right?
And the load management. I don't know. Is he taking every 3 games off, whatever that is? I don't know. That's why when I look at this, if they have a bad loss or two, LeBron might pull back a little bit and say, I'm not going to kill myself for what?
Well, what the Lakers fans should be concerned about is not just making the playoffs, but getting in the 7th seed. Because obviously, if you get in at number 8, it's going to be a quick experience. All right,
you got the best player in the league.
Golden State will pound. Yeah, Golden State has 5 of the best players in the league. So they will take care of them. But look, they're only 3 games out of 7th. All right, where San Antonio is. San Antonio's lost 4 straight. They've lost 8 of their last. They've gone 8-9 in their last month and a half. So they're struggling a bit.
Lakers have lost 3 of their last 10. They're 3-7 in their last 10. So they're not. Actually,
those games.
The world's on fire. I don't care whether.
How you not
That's the thing. You want to eliminate their best player.
Down your entire argument to say it doesn't matter.
Chris, they just
LeBron
lost 2
James
out of 3
is there.
when LeBron played.
Let's take away Steph and Clay.
Did LeBron just play the last 3 games? I'm asking you. Did he play the last 3 games?
Philadelphia's a better team.
I don't care. You just said it matters if LeBron's playing. Did they win or lose? They lost.
I'm not saying they're going to win every game with LeBron. I'm just saying they're going to win enough to get into the playoffs.
No, but your point is...
You're acting like he's a role player.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying this team is not that good, even with LeBron. That's the problem.
What were they seeded when LeBron got hurt?
That was early sample size. That
was like 2.5, 3 months.
That wasn't
They were the 4th seed.
Rob, I don't even think you believe what you said.
I do. What are you talking about?
He's having fun.
Because when let's forget about the Lakers for a second. Let's talk about the teams that are right in front of them. And you said it best. When you look at, we can go right to the 9th seed, Sacramento. Do you believe that Sacramento is going to be able to sustain?
Why not? They've done it all this year.
Oh,
Greg.
so now,
Why?
I'm glad you said that because when we saw the sample size of the Lakers when they were 4th in the conference, all of a sudden it's not a large enough sample size. So with Sacramento doing it right now, they're going to sustain it because we've seen
55 games into the season. There's only 25 left. What are you going to say? They're going to go 5-20 in the last
Rob,
25
who's making it?
Every point, every argument that you're making a what if. What if LeBron James gets hurt? What if
No,
one of
I
their
didn't even
players
bring that up.
You
just
did.
didn't bring it
I
up.
said most of my
In the
argument. I'm
beginning.
just saying.
I feel like they're ganging up on you.
That's
here, Rob.
okay.
Yeah,
I've been
we
there
are.
before. This is the easy way, of course, for anybody, any analyst to come out and say, "Oh yeah, of course LeBron's going to make the playoffs."
Well, we
Half
try
the
to be
league
right.
makes the
It's not about
playoffs.
being easy,
Jamie,
hard.
half
It's
the
about
league,
trying to
everybody
be
makes
right.
the playoffs. I get it, but Kobe too didn't make the playoffs in his prime with a lesser squad. My point is, this squad proved to me when LeBron was out that they're not that good. They were 6-12. They lost to some really bad teams at home. And my point is, they've painted themselves in such a corner now that the margin for error is small. That's what I'm trying to say to you, is that a bad loss or two could derail them. That's how much
But they're going to get a good win.
That's how much in peril this season is.
So
because
they're derailed.
they are derailed. Four
Because-
cars
Rob,
went off the track.
Rob, that Cleveland team he was on the last 4 years, they went to 4 straight finals.
In the Eastern
Hold on.
Conference.
And you never thought that they would get there.
1-1, right? When LeBron was out in those 3 years, forget the last year, he played every game. So the first 3 years, when they still had Kyrie, Irving, and a good Kevin Love, they were 4-23 without LeBron. That's worse than 6-12. So LeBron can take guys that by themselves without him aren't that good and make them a really good team. Now, we're not saying, again, they're a threat to win the West. They could push Golden State to 6 or 7 games. All we're saying is they're going to make the playoffs.
Chris,
That's it.
You said 53 wins before the season started. That they
Yeah,
were
and
going to be the second.
I didn't
And
know
LeBron
LeBron
got
James was going to
hurt.
miss 17 games.
But I'm talking about even without LeBron James, this isn't a good team.
But
And
with them,
and with
it's
them,
a good team.
They have just hear me out. A small window where if they have a bad couple of games, they could wind up missing the play. That's how tight it is in the
Okay,
Western
you know what?
Conference. That's what I'm trying to say
Rob,
to you.
I agree with
That's
you.
what. But they painted themselves
listen,
into such a corner.
You know what? I
Greg
agree
is
with
trying-
you.
this is like a-
I
a
agree with
psychological
him,
mind thing. What are
because
you doing
what
to him?
he's doing is answering the question as if LeBron is not in the
that's basically
equation.
Ah.
So if LeBron is not in the equation,
You've already given
what
it.
you've done.
You've already softened it.
You're
I'm
saying-
just
you're-
saying if.
you keep saying
it's easy to come up
if
here and
this-
say they're going to make it. You're
No.
telling. You're just trying to be
you just said
contrary.
I'm not.
Rob, you just said this Laker. All I'm saying is this Laker
Right.
team without LeBron James is not that good.
Right, and you add
that's
to
not
it, that
the
makes
point.
it. And here's the other part. Did you watch the game? Did LeBron play in Indiana? I'm just asking. Did he play?
He did.
What happened in that game?
They
Greg?
got beat.
Okay, did he play in Philly yesterday when they gave up 190 points? Did you see that game?
Yes.
Play in Boston? Did
I
he
did.
play in Boston?
Yeah, and if it wasn't for LeBron, of course, passed the ball off to somebody else down the stretch. And if it wasn't for the Rondo shot, they don't win that game. I'm
But
just saying.
you can't. They won. I don't want to hear the ifs and the ands and the buts. They won. Who's making it, Rob? If the Lakers aren't one of the top 8, who's that 8th team?
Sacramento sneaks up, and wins the 8th spot. Sacramento, they've been playing well all year. And
Anybody
nobody
but the
wants
Lakers.
to
They've been playing 500 basketball all year.
And that's
Just,
what
just admit it. You want anybody but the Lakers.
It ain't
to
about
make
what I want. I'm a
It
reporter.
is.
I don't care.
You're
who
not
wins or
reporting
loses.
anything right now.
I don't.
You're not
care
reporting anything
I don't
right
care
now.
who wins or loses. I don't. I'm just telling you that you guys hang on to the past and think that LeBron is still in the Eastern Conference and that, oh, yeah, he's going to make the playoffs just by default. This is a different Western Conference.
Did you listen to the
different
stat
Lakers
line?
team.
4-23 with the Cavs.
We're not talking about
Without
last year in the Cavs.
Can you agree, though, with Rob that there is a small amount of games left and there is very little room for error for the Lakers?
No, I don't even agree with that.
Really?
I don't. They have enough.
26 games,
They
and
have
all of a
enough
sudden they're gonna
games
play
left to get to where they want to go. This is when you are trying to get into the playoffs. It doesn't matter how many games you have left. It matters, do we have enough games to win and get in? Period. Not, okay, we only have this amount of games left, guys. We can't lose. We can't get tight. We can't shrink up. No, it's not even about that. Can we make sure that we get done what we need to get done with the amount of time we have left? Can they do it? Absolutely. Had they proven they can do it with LeBron James? Yes, they have. So I'm sorry, Rob Parker. the Los Angeles Lakers will make the playoffs.
And Rob, look, over the last week or two, really since the trade deadline stuff got going, their defense has struggled. But
Struggle? That's an understatement.
No, it has.
It's
but
been abysmal. It's been
all
horrendous.
season long, from November 1st up until a few weeks ago, even without LeBron, when he was injured, they were one of the top defenses in the league.
Yeah, they stopped the Knicks at home. They stopped the Cavaliers
I'm just giving you facts.
Okay.
Their defensive efficiency was among the tops in the league. The last 2 games, with all the problems defensively, offensively, they had 31 assists against Philly, 35 against Boston. They're sharing the ball. Kyle Kuzma has refound his game, averaging 32 the last 2 games after a week or 2 of really struggling. So they're coming together again. No, nobody's saying they're going to beat Golden State, but they will get in the playoffs. And you will owe me a bet. We're going to bet something.
We will.
I want to get in on this bet.
I want to bet him Jordans. He all this braggadocio, all this sticking out his chest. They're not that good. Let's bet some Jordans. Crickets.
No, we're not betting Jordan, because how are we going to bet if you want to bet?
They're out of the playoffs. I'm the one taking the risk.
No, you're not. You're taking the risk. Half
They're
the league
out of the
makes
playoffs.
It's got to be like 4 pair of Jordans to 1.
Oh, stop it.
You got to
No.
give me odds.
They're
it can't
out.
be 1 to
The
1.
odds are there.
How
Out
come
of
then
the
you tell me that they
playoffs.
have the greatest player on the planet, and you want me to give you 1 to 1 odds on that? Come on.
They don't have any room for error.
Guys, do a little shopping online. Pick out your shoes
out.
during the break.
We're going to do something.
Is
We'll figure out
Marcus
something.
Morris hinting that Kyrie Irving is the biggest problem for the Celtics? We'll discuss that one next.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here with a word from TurboTax. It's nice to have a helping hand, especially when it's tax season and that hand is attached to a licensed tax professional. With TurboTax Live, you can talk to real CPAs and EAs on demand who can review your return with you before you file and make sure you get your maximum refund. They can even check your work line by line so you can be confident it's done right. Who knew confidence and peace of mind could be synonymous with taxes? TurboTax Live with CPAs and EAs on demand. See details at turbotax.com.
No mercy.
Well, the Celtics had a 28-point lead against the Clippers on Saturday, but that all went away when Kyrie Irving left the game near the end of the half with a sprained right knee. The Clippers won by 11 points, and Boston was booed off the court by their fans. This follows the Celtics losing an 18-point lead to the Lakers in the previous game. The Celtics are currently the 5th seed in the East. Marcus Morris said after their most recent loss, quote, "When I look at us, I see a bunch of individuals. It hasn't been fun for a long time." Interesting words there. Greg, what do you think the biggest problem with the Celtics is?
Biggest problem with the Boston Celtics is Kyrie Irving.
Ooh. Wow.
Kyrie Irving. And I this is not a shot at Kyrie
What
Irving.
is it?
Sounded like it.
What is it?
Sounded like
How can
it.
you say it's not a shot?
It's not a shot at Kyrie Irving because statistically he's having an unbelievable year individually. But when you look at the Boston Celtics, you look at how they're made up, their DNA, their makeup. Brad Stevens is the biggest asset that they have. Although Kyrie Irving is as electrifying, as exciting, as stellar as he is on the court, he takes away from what everybody else does. He doesn't complement everybody else. When you look at their success last year with Kyrie Irving off the court, the ball popped, it moved around, they went through one another. There was no animosity. I shouldn't even say it because I don't believe that there's animosity, but there wasn't any individual play. There wasn't any ISO ball so often. Every blue moon you might see Jason Tatum take a guy one-on-one and he get a couple buckets. But for the most part, the ball moved around the arc, through guys cutting through the lanes, Brad Stevens drawing up some fantastic sidelines and baseline out-of-bound plays to get them easy buckets. It's not coming as easy as they once did last year. And when you look at everybody else's statistically, they're down, with the exception of Marcus Morris, the one who said it. He's up. He's trending up statistically. So everybody's numbers have had to decrease because of Gordon Hayward obviously coming back, trying to find his way. He's not even himself, a shell of himself. And I think that with him getting better, we'll see what they look like. But right now, Kyrie Irving is the odd man out. It looks great because of what he provides offensively, and from a fan's perspective, he's exciting to watch. He has everything that you want in a player, But for the Boston Celtics, they are the New England Patriots of the National Basketball Association. They have their coach in line, fundamentally sound, concrete. Everybody else can be role players.
That is such a stretch, please.
All right, look,
that's not a stretch at all.
It is a stretch. They haven't won Jack, and neither
Did they make the playoffs without Kyrie Irving last year?
Half the league makes the playoffs.
Oh, yeah,
except for the Lakers.
Exactly.
All right, Greg. Look, you obviously made good points about the style of play with Kyrie versus without Kyrie and all that. And his presence, him returning from injury, has created some of these issues. However, here's why he's not the problem, and he's really a big part of the answer, is that without Kyrie, they can make the playoffs without him. They can even go fairly deep, but they can't have a hope or a prayer of winning a championship. And now that the East is improved with Milwaukee getting so much better, Philadelphia now being stacked, Toronto getting better with Kawhi Leonard, they can't even reach the finals without Kyrie Irving. All right, and that's why Danny Ainge, even with all the hints, Kyrie kind of backing off saying, I'm planning to stay here. Even with all that, Danny Ainge is still all in on keeping Kyrie. And he's also all in on going after Anthony Davis. Why? Because he understands Kyrie Irving is a superstar. And while we could be good, really good kind of, without Kyrie, we can't be great without Kyrie. And obviously in Boston, it's about being great and winning championships. Danny Ainge knows every one of those 17 championships they had a superstar leading the way. Danny Ainge knows that in the entire history of the NBA, only twice, 2004, the Detroit Pistons.
One of the greatest teams of all time.
1979, Seattle Supersonics. Those are the only two championship teams in NBA history who weren't led by a superstar. So he knows, look, I get it. The chemistry's a little shaky. Guys are in their feelings. But Kyrie Irving has to be here to stay because if we want to win again, it's with him. Now, quickly to your point, you're right about the players. Jason Tatum, in the playoffs without Kyrie last year, 18 points. This year, 16 points a game. Jaylen Brown, in the playoffs without Kyrie, 18 points. This year, less than 13 points. He was shooting 15 shots a game. Now he's at 11. He was getting 32 minutes. Now he's at 26. Terry Rozier, this is the biggest drop.
Yes.
16 and a half points without Kyrie in the playoffs. 9 this year. 14 field goal attempts. 8 now. 36 minutes. 23 now. So you're right. That's where Marcus Morris is saying we're individuals. We're not having fun. I get it. If I was Terry Rozier, I wouldn't be having fun either. And he and Kyrie, I think, are friends. But he's dropped 13 minutes a night. He's not getting the shots, and the same with the other two. So that's the problem in Boston. But Kyrie, if they can, he's a keeper, and you maybe move some of the other guys.
Finally, Chris, very nice, Greg. I don't know what you're talking about. Because here we go. This is the thing that's so crazy. The kids, you all bent out of shape, that they're not getting their points or whatever. Those kids wet the bed in Game 7 against LeBron and the Cavaliers. Because if Kyrie was on that team, Chris, they would have won that series and gone to the NBA Finals. That's the difference. And then when you talk about Marcus Morris, like it's not fun and individuals, when Kyrie came back after he was injured and missed some games, they won 10 out of 11. In the 7-game stretch, Kyrie averaged almost 30 points a game, 10 assists, shooting 47% from 3 and 53% from the field overall. So I don't know how you could play any better. And when you, of course, lose 2 star players in Hayward and Kyrie, yes, there were no expectations. Hey, just play. Just go out there. It's much easier to play with that. But if you're talking about trying to win a championship, you got to have the big guys. He just told you. You will not. Danny Ainge is not dumb. He understands. You won't win. You won't sniff a championship. Last year, oh, look at this team. Unbelievable. Missed 27 three-pointers in Game 7 at home against the Cavaliers. Why? The moment got too big for them. Kyrie's won a championship. He's averaged 30 points against the Warriors in the finals. He's the guy you need in those moments. So he's not the issue. It's about those younger guys trying to fit in and understand Kyrie's the main guy. We got to get what we can get and play with them, not looking at just because their numbers went down. Are you winning or not? And that's really what it's about. It's not about just your numbers. So I don't think Kyrie's the issue here. I believe it's just the other guys have to learn.
And so with all of that, I'm not saying Kyrie isn't a special player, and they don't.
You said he was the problem.
He is the problem.
He isn't the
because
problem.
Yeah, there's two different
Well,
things.
I think the question for you, Greg, is this. Okay, because we both kind of admitted, look, his presence
Changes
has created
things.
these issues.
Yes.
But if you're Danny Ainge and you had to get rid of some of those role players who, maybe will be better in the future, or Kyrie, which one you looking at getting rid of?
It depends on what you're trying to do.
It doesn't depend.
Well, you're trying to win a championship.
You're trying to win. I'm with you there. You need a guy like Kyrie on your team, on your roster. But for this team, I got a better question for you guys. How do you think Brad Stevens feel?
Well, I'm glad you brought him up. Okay, Brad Stevens, Rob and I have talked about it a lot. This is a test for him.
It is.
Because if you look at his pedigree, played Division III basketball, I think started coaching at that level, goes to Butler. You're not getting the superstars at Butler. You're getting 2-star, 3-star recruits. So he's the little engine that could coach. Even when he got to Boston, you didn't have any superstars when he got there. He turns Isaiah Thomas, who had been, a sixth man, into this MVP candidate last year. No expectations, no superstars, and we go far. Now, in the NBA, that's nice. That's a good coach. But can you handle superstars? Can you handle egos? Can you bring the locker room together when you've got 1, 2, 3 stars and then everybody else?
And
that's the challenge. And we're seeing if he's up to it.
How did Brad Stevens always lose in college? To teams with better players.
Right.
So you can bring those young guys along, but always he gets derailed at the end, excuse me, because the other coach has a star player and you don't. It's the same thing in the NBA. You can't win with those young guys without having a star.
I disagree. I completely disagree with what the Boston Celtics showed me last year. They are an effective team and can go deep into the playoffs. And you guys say
not in this Eastern Conference.
But that's not the goal either. I agree. They can be a good team.
It's not the goal. Team. But you give Brad Stevens 2 years. I'm not saying eliminate Kyrie from the equation right now. I'm not saying that. But if they want to get better, they are going to have to either find a way to play with Kyrie, his style and his way, and forego kind of what Brad Stevens says, because when you have a superstar, anytime you have a player that can make plays on his own, he's going to go anti-social versus what the coach is going to tell them to do every single time. He's not going to always be on cue and in harmony and in unison with what the coach wants, because he's an off-script guy. He can do it when the coach wants it. He can do it without the coach telling him to go get it. And that's what Kyrie Irving brings. That's what these other guys weren't accustomed to. In the playoffs, they got accustomed to, look, guys, let's just run the play. Let's run through one another. Let's support. Let's build each other up. Let's make each other better. Now we're standing here and we're kind of watching Kyrie do his thing, and if he's ready to give us an opportunity, we better be ready.
So you mean, in other words, they're playing NBA basketball, which is what most players have to do. In LeBron's system, it's the same exact thing. Right. This is how you have to play that game. When you have that big guy, everybody stands around and watches at the end, because that's just how it goes.
Kyrie was right. It's ironic he talked about calling up LeBron, because this is exactly what was happening in Cleveland. It was a LeBron show,
yes,
and everybody else had to fit in. One of the guys that Kyrie talks to a lot, Kobe. Similar things with Kobe, with the other guys having to watch him do their thing. That's why it's tough when you've got a superstar and a team that is thinking championship, but then you got a bunch of young guys still in their rookie deals. Because it's a business, too. Mm-hmm. And Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Terry Rozier are also thinking money.
Right. Those numbers equate to money.
Kyrie got a chance during his young years, where they're at now, to establish himself as a superstar without LeBron. Mm-hmm. And he got his money, and then LeBron came. And that's what happens with most young stars, is you're not in a position where you're playing for a championship. That's why they're not happy there, and it's a challenge.
No mercy.
Speaking of LeBron, guys, he picked his all-star roster last week. It included a number of upcoming free agents including Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Kawhi Leonard. But LeBron said his motivation was to get the best team, not free agency. Lakers are back to the drawing board after missing out on adding Anthony Davis before the trade deadline. But Magic Johnson said yesterday there's plenty of fish in the sea, saying, quote, "It's a great free agency class, and we just want to get one of them." So let's start with you, Rob. Do you think that the Lakers should be concerned about finding LeBron a co-star?
They should be. I mean, I don't know what Magic Johnson is fishing for. He might get a fish stick, but he ain't going to get a big fish.
A guppy, right?
Yeah, a guppy, because this is the problem. And KD said it, and about the toxic situation around LeBron. And you could already look, LeBron's had a hard time on trying to get somebody to come play with him. That's why they panicked here and tried to get AD. A year and a half left on his contract. They tried to panic to try to force him out of there to come to LA because they know LeBron can't win. And when they look at the landscape and look around to try to figure out who's going to come, they don't see anybody. So they looked and said, well, AD, maybe we can get him in a trade and force that to happen because let's just face it, LeBron's championship/biological clock is ticking, and it's ticking loud as he gets older and Father Time continues to beat up on that body. And that's why this was supposed to be the look-see year. You know, the first year they were supposed to look. Let's just see. He's not going for a championship. Let's see what's going on with the kids. Right? That's what it was supposed to be. And what happened? It got accelerated because they know in the West and what's going on. That
well, they're hearing the rumblings, too, about the free agents.
And the other free agents, you hear everything is everywhere but. You're hearing people wanting to go to New York and Brooklyn and to the Clippers rather than play with LeBron. So if you're LeBron, you're going, oh, what's going to happen? So Magic can sit there and act like, oh, we're not worrying about it. You better worry about it because LeBron has never, ever, 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 ever been able to get anybody to come play with him. And now he's even in Los Angeles.
Didn't he go play with Dwayne and Chris Bosh?
Yeah, you just said it. He went to play with them.
But that was a joint. That was a joint decision.
No,
they
never
all decided together.
LeBron has never gotten anybody to come. And even when these guys came out, even Kawhi's camp pushed away. He didn't say it directly. Oh, he's not interested in being there. And then even Jimmy Butler, who's like, you know, a lower star, not even a star, said he's not interested in playing there. And then
did he say that?
Yeah, he didn't want to come to LA. And he listed the 3 teams that he wanted, and the Lakers weren't one of them. And here's the other thing that you poo-pooed when I told you originally. Paul George will be the reason that LeBron James never wins a championship in LA because that derailed everything they wanted to do. Had they been able to get Paul George, they would be able to keep all those young core players, right? Because they wouldn't have to make a trade to get somebody, and then they would have been able to add another player. Because he did not do that, it's wrecked all their plans. That's why everything is up in the air. Now the only way they're going to get another player like an AD is they're going to have to give up some of that young core in order just to get that second guy. LeBron knows he can't win.
Well, you make some decent points. I'll say
decent. Those are really good NBA points.
I'll say this about Paul George. Because the narrative isn't, look, LeBron, there are a lot of reasons guys might not want to play with him. If I'm a superstar in my own right and I think I can lead a team to a championship, I might not want to play with him because he's going to be the main guy. So I get that. But Paul George was willing to go to Cleveland when he was still in Indiana. He actually told LeBron and the Cavs, I will waive my opt-out clause and stay 2 years in Cleveland if LeBron will do it.
If he's going to
stay. And LeBron would not do it. Right, LeBron would not commit. So I don't think it's all, with some players, yeah. Kevin Durant said some players don't want that environment. They don't want to play with LeBron, but not all players. But here's the thing. They should be concerned because I think, look, you just hear rumblings as you talk to people around the league, but with Kevin Durant, if he leaves Golden State, right now it looks like it's the Knicks or the Clippers. Okay, if Kawhi leaves Toronto, it's looking like the Clippers more so than the Lakers, although I wouldn't say the Lakers have zero chance, but it certainly looks like Clippers. If Klay, you know, we've heard talk that if the Golden State doesn't max him, he could come to the Lakers, which I think makes sense. But if Durant leaves, they're going to max him. And even if Durant stays, they need to max him because you're going in that new arena in San Francisco.
Yep.
You're not going to want to go in there with what we did, a few years ago and what we're not going to do in the future.
And also, Ryan and Chris, a chance to win 4 in a row and separate yourself. If they stay together for one more year, they could win 4 in a row, and they would be like,
no
you'd have to
team other than
them.
Bill Russell's Celtics have done that. And then you got Kyrie. Look, I don't think he's coming to the Lakers, but what was not even a remote possibility a month ago is now within the realm of possibility. And I'm telling you, talk to some people around the league, and more and more people are starting to think he may go back there. I think if he leaves Boston, New York has a better shot, but I can't totally write off the Lakers, but I don't think they'll get him. So AD, this is what I think the Lakers' future holds. This summer, they got a good chance to get him. And they're not guaranteed because Danny Ainge is going to really go hard after him. But I think the Lakers could get him this summer. And the free agent they probably need to look at if they can't get any of these top 4 is Jimmy Butler. We know Jimmy Butler, and you hear it in Philly. Chicago, attitude problems. Minnesota, attitude problems. Philadelphia, even though they're playing well, some issues there. Those are all, think about it, young guys. Even though some of them are better than Butler, they're young. He doesn't have to respect Embiid and Simmons and Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins. If he goes to the Lakers, and he's a very good player, his game is not in question, I believe he'll respect LeBron. LeBron's a veteran, older than him. I think LeBron, who's never shied away from difficult personalities, J.R. Smith, Lance Stevenson, Rajon Rondo, Michael Beasley, all these guys, JaVale McGee. I think that Butler would be on good behavior, if not his best behavior, with the Lakers. And LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Jimmy Butler is a heck of a big 3. So that's what I think they should be really thinking about as maybe a plan B going forward.
With everything that they tried to do already, trying to go after Anthony Davis, it shows me that they're concerned. Like, it shows that
almost desperate.
They are. And I think it's more than just winning this year. They understand, and Magic's no fool. Rob Pelinka isn't either. They understand our future is not LeBron James. If we can get a 25-year-old Anthony Davis right now with LeBron James, and we can solidify or possibly win a championship now and then continue to build with him being our future, because that would be their future. I think that's what more they're looking at versus we got to get somebody with LeBron James so we can win and build our – no, it's not.
But their legacy, if they don't win a championship in these 4 years with LeBron when they brought him to L.A. and they don't win, it's not going to look good for Magic or Rob Pelinka. Would you admit that?
I would admit that.
Okay.
I would.
But I would just say it's not great. But if LeBron, just getting LeBron here
was huge.
And making the Lakers relevant.
They didn't bring him here for decoration.
No, you're right.
It
It wouldn't be great, but it's still, if they're relevant and they keep making the playoffs, it's not going to be what you want.
That's the thing about LeBron James. Once you acquire him, you're relevant. Once you have him and he's on the court and he's playing, now we're already relevant because we got you. Now we need to win.
Right.
So to your point, everything got accelerated the moment he put that uniform on and started on the hardwood. And I just think moving forward, if they could get Jimmy Butler, I'm not a big fan of Jimmy Butler because of the attitude factor. And I think that's, if you mix in some of the young guys, that's not a good look.
But because he's going to respect LeBron, that's great. But it's not the kind of player you want influencing the young guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they won't have many. If what I said comes to pass, they'll trade a lot of these guys for Anthony Davis.
Here's the problem.
There'll be a veteran squad.
Here's the problem with LeBron. And, I think Michael Jordan's the GOAT, but people think that
I agree.
LeBron's the GOAT, right? Some people, Shannon. So the problem with going to play for a guy who people think is the GOAT is that you wind up being the scapegoat when you don't win. And that's the problem. If you're Anthony Davis, if you come to the Lakers and you don't win, it ain't about LeBron. He wasn't good enough. He was soft. He was this, he was that. So you put yourself, LeBron always washes his hands, and it's always about the supporting cast and the other people. So that's why it's not always attractive to a guy to come play with him, because you don't win. LeBron wins, it's going to be all about LeBron winning a championship. You lose, LeBron loses, it's about you, Anthony Davis. You weren't able to bring what they needed.
I would say that's more so about the rest. Like, Anthony, if Kyrie, when they didn't win, nobody was like, Kyrie ain't bringing it. You know, the second guy usually gets his love. Like Dwayne Wade got love when they didn't win, but they won 1 out of 4. I mean, it's you, like even sacrificing your game. Kyrie got his numbers with LeBron. Dwayne Wade got his numbers with LeBron. It's from 3 down. Heck, even Kevin Love had good numbers.
Kevin Love got killed about what kind of play he was, and he was a star player.
The supporting cast gets killed. I don't think, like if Anthony Davis goes there, I don't think those two, LeBron or AD, would get killed. It would be, well, they didn't have enough around them. And, you know, Chris, we don't even know what would be around
You said this, and I agree. He's not even the best fit for LeBron, like Anthony Davis.
I was going to go there.
Not that he's not a good player, but I don't even see him as like the perfect fit. This is where they're struggling to try to get a player.
His game will have to expand all the way to the perimeter.
And he's standing out there the same way that Chris Bosh did, and the same way that
Chris Bosh was the third option. Kevin Love was the third option. AD would be in that second role like Kyrie.
But don't you still need to add a third player is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I say it should be Jimmy Butler. It's hard to find a perfect fit among superstars with LeBron because he dominates the ball and the action so much. Ironically, Kevin Durant, I think, would be perfect with him, but I don't see that happening at all.
You still think AD might go to the Lakers? The Pelicans
I think there's a good
business?
It's going to come. Oh, yeah. I mean, the Pelicans, it was just about not doing it then.
Yeah.
Like, there was no – let's wait and see what Boston offers. Let's wait and see what New York offers.
The Knicks might get the first overall pick.
Right. That's all it was about.
Now let's wait. I mean, there was no rush to do it.
It was just no rush.
All right, guys, let's move on. Has Dak Prescott proven he deserves a big payday from the Cowboys?
Dak!
Ooh, we'll discuss it next.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here with a quick word about Robinhood. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos all commission-free. While other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, Robinhood doesn't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all of your profits. Plus, there is no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level. The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy-to-understand charts and market data and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. You can also view stock collections, such as 100 most popular. With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio, discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood is giving listeners of Undisputed a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help you build your portfolio. Sign up at undisputed.robinhood.com. Now, back to the show.
No mercy.
Dak Prescott helped lead the Cowboys to his second playoff appearance in 3 years, but time is running out on his rookie contract. Dak can become a free agent after next season, but he said recently, quote, "I think the team knows how to pay what's deserved." Dak was asked about Tom Brady notoriously taking pay cuts, and he brought up Giselle to compare their scenarios. Take a listen.
He saved the Pats like $60 million. He's obviously the GOAT, right? He's making like $15 million, I think, base salary, which other quarterbacks are making like almost double that, which is crazy.
Nobody's wife makes as much money as his wife does either, so make sure we know that, all right? Make sure we know that.
That's a good point. That's a dual income household
exactly. There. Exactly. When Tom Brady isn't the breadwinner in the home, then that's a great problem to have. So in that case, he can do that. He can do his contracts however you want to do them. But for me, it's about I've got a great agent. I'm gonna just let him do what he's best at, and just leave it at that.
Dak bringing up Giselle in the interview there. I think you're the natural start on this one, Greg. Should the Cowboys lock up Dak long term?
They should. I think the Cowboys should lock him up right now. And the reason why is because Dak Prescott has proven that he's going to win. In this business, it's all about winning and winning when it counts. He got him a playoff win this year. They have a really good roster defensively and offensively. If they can hold on to some of those defensive pieces, DeMarcus Lawrence obviously being the main piece. But offensively, just looking at them offensively, Dak Prescott has been what they wanted him to be, and he's getting better. His completion percentage from last year to this year is back up to 67% from 62. His interceptions went from 13 down to 8. His yards per game went back up to 242 from 207. The only thing that Dak Prescott needs to not do is hold on to the football because he's getting sacked a lot more. And if we're going to invest in you as our quarterback, as our franchise player, we need to make sure that you're getting rid of the football and you're going to stay healthy. I like the Dallas Cowboys and their nucleus of how they've conformed this roster. Their personnel, it fits Dak Prescott. It makes him better. When you look at a young quarterback that didn't have a solidified number one receiver that could run routes and get open on any bit of the route tree, any route you have him run, any play you call, he can get open, and now he has that in Amari Cooper. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, this is why I'm locking him up now, because if I run the risk of allowing him to play a full season with an Amari Cooper, healthy, barring all injuries, and Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield, healthy, and Cole Beasley and all these other guys starting to evolve their game and get better, he's going to get better. His stats are going to improve. And that will not bode well for the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones as far as money they will have to divvy up for Dak Prescott if they choose to wait. So I say to lock him up now.
I say wait. There's still a part of me. I've seen those moments where you look at Dak and you say, okay, he's maturing and moving forward. But I've also seen the really bad moments. And for me, it always looks like everything has to be perfect for it to work out with the running game and defense, everything. And then he can make those throws. Like, if you ask him to win a game for you, I'm not convinced that he can just go out and win a game.
But he's done it.
I'm just saying.
He's done it.
But I need more.
He has 8 comebacks and 14 game-winning drives.
Doesn't he have more than any other quarterback or second or something during his 3 years?
I'm not sure. That possibly could be true.
I just need more.
But he's done it.
Before I back up the
you need more than 14.
I need more than
that. You need 15.
Right, I need more. So I want to see him for one more year. I want to see one more year, and if the guy can win again, then you can pay him. Just pay him the money. I'm also with Dak. I don't want to hear about no hometown discount or what they do with Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
Because all of that is nonsense. First of all, as he pointed out, it's not all about money. And then everybody always says, what does everybody always say about Tom Brady? He does it with nothing. It's unbelievable. Well, they're saving money, right? Supposedly the Patriots. So where's that going? It's not going to other players to help them. Because the argument is always.
Maybe it's going to the linemen. I don't know. Is it going to the offensive line?
No. That's what I'm saying. No.
Because it's not going to the skill position.
And then here's the other part.
You know that.
Robert Kraft is keeping that in his pocket.
And then Jerry Jones just bought a $250 million yacht, and you telling me, asking me for a hometown discount? I'm not buying that. I wouldn't do it if I'm the Cowboys. I'd like to see one more year on the field. Let me see him do his thing. And then, yes, if he plays really well, make the playoffs, I'm going to pay him what he deserves, but I'm not doing it now. But players should never take a discount, a hometown discount.
Dak has all the intangibles that you want in a quarterback. You know, the ones we see, I'm not saying he's Tom Brady in that regard, but the ones you see in Brady, he's a winner, he's a leader of men. You know, I think he's a playmaking game manager. Like, he's a game manager to some extent, but he's one that can make big plays. Some with his arm, but also with his legs. So I like him. And if I were Dallas and I could lock him up right now in the low 20 millions, right? Like 22, 23, 24, something like that, I would do it. But if Dak wants like Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo money, which is around 28 million or more per year, and it usually goes up because it's another, the next year, then I would have to wait. And if he leads us to the NFC Championship game or a Super Bowl or something like that, then I'm willing to pay him, that big money. But if he just gets us to the playoffs again or even less.
How about he doesn't get you to the playoffs?
Then I'm not giving that big money. And that's where, and I think Dak, because you talked about taking lesser money. I agree. When there's no salary cap and owners can pay whatever the heck they want, then I agree. If they're living on yachts and buying all this new stuff, then they should give the players what they're worth. But when there's a salary cap, and if you take a certain amount of money, that's going to, especially a guy like Dak, if I take every single cent that I can get on the market. I demand Dallas gives me that. And that costs us Amari Cooper. That costs us Ezekiel Elliott.
But
or
that's
somebody.
not his.
Hold on,
that's
let me
his
finish. Let me
That-
finish. If it costs me them, then if I'm Dak, I would take a little bit less so I can keep my other players around me, because Dak, without them, is not going to be that good. He's not Aaron Rodgers where he's going to carry a team. And you look at the top 6 earning quarterbacks this season: Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Matt Stafford, Derek Carr. None of them made the playoffs.
Yeah, but that's
because the numbers show that when the quarterback takes up so much of your salary cap, you can't put the pieces around him to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Chris, Matt Stafford made the playoffs two of the previous years. Aaron Rodgers made the playoffs. You're looking at an aberration.
How'd they do in the playoffs?
No, but my point is
so
it's not based on that. The whole thing is, I just gave you the Tom Brady example. Just because you take less doesn't mean they're going to spend the money on players. So that's why you shouldn't do it.
Exactly.
Greg, you know this.
I'm with you. In looking at other positions, and I don't like when they do this about quarterbacks, saying the quarterbacks, they shouldn't max out, but every other position should.
Because those maxes aren't as high as
I understand that, but to tell me just because I'm playing the most important and the most valuable position, I shouldn't take all that I'm worth or all that I can get, and you should.
Especially.
Especially when it's not all guaranteed and you can get hurt at any time.
Let me ask you.
However,
would you rather, if you're Dak Prescott, would you rather make $25 million a year with a team, $28 million a year, with a team that doesn't have the pieces around you, and you know you're not Aaron Rodgers, you're not just about to put the team on your back? Or would you rather make $3 million less with Dallas, where you got horses around you that you can potentially win Super Bowl? I'm just asking.
That's not all the way true.
No.
Because these teams, it's not like they don't have pieces around these quarterbacks. They
These
just
ones
don't
that missed?
Matt Ryan, he don't have pieces.
You're right.
He just had a bad year.
Matthew Stafford, he doesn't have pieces.
At one time he had
Aaron
one time he had Sue and Calvin Johnson.
At one time.
No, but he had them.
And Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't have pieces. Like, we're making excuses. No, they just didn't win. Bottom line, if I'm Dak Prescott, show me the money. That's what I'm in this for. And if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, yes, this is why you lock him up now, because you run the risk if he does have more success, because he's had success. You can't deny him that. He's already had success. He's already proven I can win. I've been to the playoffs twice, my rookie year and then this previous year, and I won. And now we're building on. You're adding pieces. You're put in Dak Prescott.
But you even said earlier, though, Dak looked a lot better. Dak and the Cowboys looked a lot better last year once Amari Cooper arrived.
He did. He
needs those pieces.
He does.
But also, Greg, isn't it, when you see, if you're Dak, Garoppolo played 8 games and they gave him $1 gazillion. I'm supposed to take less, and I've won you 2 divisions.
There's a precedent.
It is, and he can argue the Kirk Cousins
deal.
issue.
All guaranteed.
He's not even won a playoff game, or games that are meaningful. So for him to say, you know what, I'll take less just so we can have a better team. Yeah, that sounds great, and it could be great for the New England Patriots. But for the Dallas Cowboys and for Jerry Jones, that's why you lock him up right now. You don't run that risk and wait, because you're dealing with a Dak Prescott, whether we want to admit, he has a lot of confidence right now. He knows what he's potentially able to do.
$28 million a year or $30 million a year?
I don't try.
That's the Kirk Cousins rate.
If I'm Dallas, I try to get him somewhere between that 27, 26 area. If
but
I
that's
can,
the going rate, though. They can't really buck the system.
You can't buck the system like that.
Dak should take all of that confidence and go find him a Giselle, and we won't even have this conversation.
And Chris, I have a pay coupon for your work here, since you're giving back money, so that me and Greg, right, so that we can, and Jamie, so that the 3 of us, here's a coupon for you. You take less money.
I need money, but I don't need.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm happy for you.
Guys, the Lakers executive compared LeBron James to Tom Brady over the weekend. Is this a fair comparison? Jason McIntyre is going to join that debate next.
No mercy.
Okay, guys, back to the NBA, the Lakers are a 500 team after getting blown out by the Sixers yesterday. They're currently 2.5 games out of the playoffs, and Anthony Davis isn't coming to LA for now, since they missed out on trading for him last week. Despite that, GM Rob Pelinka compared his team's playoff hopes with LeBron to another all-time great, and that would be Tom Brady. Pelinka said, quote, "I think early on they were facing a ton of adversity. There were lots of stories being told about fractured relationships, but what did they do? They kind of came together. My hope is our story is a little bit maybe like that, where we're on the outside, but we find a way to get in the playoffs with the skill sets we've added. And then much like Brady did, we let one of the all-time greats, LeBron, take the helm for this time or for this team and make some noise." So, Rob, since you are notably one of those people that just loves Tom Brady and LeBron James.
Who, me?
We'll start with you. Do you like this comparison?
The Rob Pelinka I just threw up in my mouth. I mean, seriously, stop it. Comparison between these two, there's no comparison. I don't even know where he's going with this. First of all, and this is a tough spot for me to be in.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
You're waiting. You want to
hear
because
which side you're taking.
Well, I'm going to take Brady's side in this.
Wow.
New England.
Do not
Mark
fade.
the date.
I'm taking Brady's side.
Is it
in this.
because the football season is over?
No, it's not that.
Right.
It's just that Brady has an easier way into the playoffs. Like, well, LeBron's going to have to fight his way in for New England. And actually, Brady's been on the winning side 6 times as far as winning championships. And LeBron has lost 6 times in his quest for championships. But as far as, like, looking at their seasons and trying to compare them, I know he was up in Boston and he got taken over by the parade and what was going on and the feeling of, being a prisoner of the moment and caught up and, wow, we could be the Patriots. I just don't see the two as the same in this case. So there's no real comparison. LeBron's job is much tougher because of the team he's on. The Western Conference. Tom Brady didn't have a Golden State Warriors in your way, possibly even in the first round of the playoffs. So it's totally different from that standpoint. I think Pelinka is grasping because he knows, like, that the forecast went from, hey, we got LeBron, we got a shot, to no, we don't have a shot and we need to do whatever we can quickly to try to improve our chances. That didn't happen. So now he's looking for a fairy tale. Now he's trying to write some other story that is something that we can't look at for ourselves and say, oh, yeah, they can do this. Look at what they have. Look at the team. Look at the path. He knows it's not that, so he's made up some fairy tale ending that just isn't happening.
Well, I don't think he's thinking fairy tale. I think what he's thinking is if we get to the second round or the conference finals, that's a really great season. But you're not going to say that. He's not going to come out and say, yeah, maybe our guy can lead us to the second or third round of the playoffs.
No, but Chris, he's not in the playoffs. His team is not even in the playoffs.
We've dealt with that already. Okay. They will be. What he's saying is, I think he's thinking. Now, to us, it came off like he's thinking, oh, LeBron can make this championship run. We all know that's not happening. Yeah. And I think he knows that's not happening. But you don't come out publicly and say, we can't win a championship.
But when you mention him with Tom Brady, are you thinking about championships or not?
And that's where the differences are. Brady's career is defined by winning, not individual stats and greatness. Even though he has good individual stats and he has individual greatness,
even though he didn't throw a touchdown in this past Super Bowl.
The first thing you think about with Tom Brady is wins, championships, 6 of them. With LeBron, even though he's got championships, 3, the first thing you think about with LeBron is individual dominance, greatness, statistical accumulation and dominance.
I think of him as losing more championships than any other MVP.
Either way, you don't think of him with the same way as you think of Tom Brady.
I knew you were gonna make that shot.
And then, like you said, Brady's got the benefit of having, I believe, the greatest coach of all time. And I've said this about LeBron's got Luke Walton. And so it's a big difference there.
Why are you whipping on
Luke? I've said he's not Bill Belichick. That's why.
Did you see what he did in Golden State?
And LeBron, the entire system is different.
The system, I've always said this about LeBron. If he had played, because the guys he's compared to historically all played for a Pat Riley, a Greg Popovich, a Phil Jackson. If LeBron had played for an iconic coach like that, I do think he would have more than 3 championships. And Tom Brady, if he wasn't playing for Bill Belichick, as great as he is, would not have 6 or maybe not even half as many.
I don't mind it. I don't mind the comparison. I think he's, to your point, grasp, I think he's reaching. He's reaching quite far because when he says, I think early on they were facing a ton of adversity. There were lots of stories being told about fractured relationships. Rob Pelinka, this all happened prior to the start of the NFL football season. This was before they put on that helmet and saw another uniform across from them and had to go to work. They made up in their minds at that point, before getting to that point, all that is out. Ego to side. The goal is winning.
But wasn't it happening during last season? Toward the end of last season?
It was
they still got to the Super Bowl.
It was the Super Bowl.
After they lost.
After they lost.
That's when it was.
When all that came out?
It was when they lost the Super Bowl that it was a big deal that Malcolm Butler didn't play and Bill Belichick put his ego in front of the team's goals.
Absolutely.
That was laid to bed once the season started this year. We heard nothing about it. We heard no grumblings, no bickering, anything. What we're seeing with the Lakers is during the season because of the trade acquisitions that they were trying to make happen. And so you've kind of imposed this on your own guys, not they brought it to the table. And I see where he's going because his hopes is that LeBron can right the ship. He can make
right
everything.
Oh, and I do think he can write it to the second or third round.
I don't
He
even
can't
know
write it beyond that.
I don't even know if he can write it beyond the first round.
Well, if they meet Golden State, he certainly can.
I just think he's hoping for him to right the ship, get them into the playoffs, and what he's saying is once we're in the playoffs, just like New England, because they limped into the playoffs, everybody thought, but once Tom Brady got there, we know how special he can be given a game-to-game basis. It's just a little different with this team versus the New England Patriots because to your point, Tom Brady, he hits a different switch and he's all about championships. LeBron, he may get you close, but we don't know if he can pull it off because of what he has to go up against.
I will say this, and this is a reason Rob Pelinka and the Lakers could feel good. One thing Brady and LeBron do have in common is Rob Parker has said, he said Brady could not get them to the Super Bowl early in the season.
I was
saw what
right.
happened there. And he's saying LeBron can't get them to the playoffs. All right, so that is reason for Lakers fans to be excited.
Here's like the other part of my problem with this, because I think that this comparison is completely ridiculous and it's apples and oranges. You're talking about two greats in their respective sports. That's obvious. But you're comparing football and basketball. It's the playoffs are a completely different system. But one of the lines here from Rob Pelinka is we've added skill sets, much like Brady did. And now, you were willing to trade all of them away.
Right.
Like literally all of them. And now, you have this.
Well, I
quote
think what he's talking about there is in bringing in Mike Muscala and Reggie Bullock, they brought in shooting, which is something they need. I didn't like him comparing those two to Julian Edelman.
No.
Edelman is much better than those two guys are at the different sports.
But
that's what he meant.
It just tells you about the desperation and where the Lakers are. I mean, they just have to admit it that this has been miscalculated and it hasn't gone where they thought it would. And I give you the injury to LeBron has derailed stuff. But even with the pieces that they had, they thought they had better pieces. If that group would have just played 500 basketball when LeBron was gone, they wouldn't be in this spot. That's the difference. That's all they had to play. And if you go back and look at the schedule, there were those games to be won where they could have just held it until LeBron got back. And I think that's where they went from that to saying, we don't want any of these guys. I mean, we'll move all of them.
They could have went 500 without LeBron, and they still would have been willing to move them for Anthony
No,
Davis.
I get that, but I'm saying, but now it's more of a desperation. It could have been Anthony Davis next summer. Not we got to have it this week. Oh, my God, we got to have it. What's going on? Because they're so afraid that the summer's going to come, no free agents are going to come, and what if the Knicks get the first pick? What if the Celtics say, we don't care what AD's dad said or whatever. We're going to make the deal for 1 year, and we're going to go for it. We don't care. That's what they're
Well,
afraid
that's why
of.
the
is once they-
Pelicans should wait.
Right.
Should have waited.
Because it could open up. What if the Knicks have Zion Williamson, right? And then say,
I hear you.
hey, we'll give you Anthony Davis for him.
When you talk about the personnel that the Lakers have, and I think a lot of it was based on Brandon Ingram and thinking that he was going to make some kind of stride.
He was supposed to flourish.
Yes, with LeBron James, and it has literally went the opposite way. But as a player, you kind of can gauge someone in what direction they're going to go by their demeanor, their body language. And when you watch Brandon Ingram, he just looks like he's kind of aloof. Like I'm here, but I don't know if I really have everything that I got.
I think he's just like that.
I'm not saying
he looks like he's stoned like all the time. It's just who he is. No, but he's not. He's not.
But
He's
that's
just-
what
I know what you
saying.
mean.
I'm
Just
not,
like
And his game is not complimentary to LeBron.
It's not.
Kuzma's is much more complimentary, and that's why you see Kuzma, when he's with LeBron, he plays much better than Ingram does. And Lonzo and Ingram, they got to get their motors up. Kuzma's motor's always up.
Can we just give a round of applause for Rob Parker for sticking through a segment where we had to debate Tom Brady and LeBron?
I know
James?
he's sick inside.
Wow.
You did a good job. I'm glad you
You
held
had
on,
to
guys.
give Brady love. Wow.
I need some mouthwash, though.
Yeah, we'll get it for you in the commercial break.
I've been telling you that for years.
Did the Pelicans do the
left that one
Lakers
open.
dirty by not
Softball,
giving them a
baby.
fair shot at Anthony Davis? Well, Magic Johnson thinks so. Jason McIntyre, I need some mouthwash. He's going to discuss that next.
No mercy.
Anthony Davis is still a Pelican, despite the Lakers putting everyone not named LeBron up for grabs. The Lakers' last offer reportedly consisted of Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, and other assets. But according to Woj, the Pelicans didn't even make a counteroffer. Magic Johnson made his first public comments yesterday on the deal that didn't happen. Take a listen.
Did you feel like the negotiation that you had was a good faith negotiation?
No. We knew that basically at the end of the day, what happened happened. And we knew that when we first started.
All right, so we're joined by Jason McIntyre right now. And Jason, let's start with you on this topic. Do you think that the Pelicans handled this poorly?
Jamie, I thought they did a horrible job here. Chris Broussard's laughing during the Magic Johnson quotes. Folks, this was a disaster for the Pelicans. This is a disaster for the NBA. I mean, listen, when you're getting 6 players, 2 first-round picks. By the way, Lonzo, Ingram, Kuzma, they're all first-rounders. So you're looking at 5 first-round picks to the Pelicans. So after the deal, right, it doesn't happen. What happens when the Pelicans go on national TV? Their star, Anthony Davis, who they don't want to play because they want to tank, he's booed in his home stadium. They have 5 more national TV games coming up in the next month. That is an embarrassment for the league. It's going to get worse if Magic and the Lakers don't make the playoffs. I mean, no Anthony Davis and LeBron. That would be a huge boon for the playoffs. Broussard, you know LeBron has carried the NBA postseason TV ratings for a while. I just thought the Pelicans overthought the room. They said, oh, maybe Boston will come in the summer. Listen, that's a huge maybe. Guys, I want to remind you, I sold a website back maybe 7 years ago, and I had one buyer interested and another one coming in. And they said, well, Jason, hold off, wait. In a few months, we could make a move. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take the bird in hand. I got a great offer, and it worked out tremendous. I think when you got 6 players and 2 picks, they should have taken it. I don't think Jason Tatum will ever be in the Boston
What
trade.
did those 6 players do when LeBron was out this year?
They did not do very well.
They went 6 and 12.
How did they do
What
with
did
them?
they do?
With
What did
LeBron?
they do?
They were 4th in the
Yeah, but they
West.
wouldn't have LeBron in New Orleans.
They would have
right?
Drew Holiday, who you love, Drew Holiday. He is an all-star.
We're now comparing Drew Holiday to
No, we're
LeBron.
not. We're
Okay,
not. We're not.
so why would I want guys that won 35 games last year in L.A.,
This
6
is-
and 12 this year? If they didn't win in L.A., what makes me think they're going to win in New
this is a
Orleans?
good
No, but
question.
let me
This is a
finish.
good question.
You had your little spiel. All right, so it's not the Pelicans' duty to trade LeBron or Anthony Davis to the Lakers, to empower the Lakers. The Pelicans were fine. They did absolutely what they should do. According to Woj, you said they never made a counteroffer. The first reports that they're not even picking up the phone. Okay? The second reports were they're not making counteroffers. And then when Magic pulls out and says, well, we'll wait for y'all to come back before we make another offer, they never called him back. So I don't know what Magic is saying. They didn't bargain in good faith. They never gave you an impression this is going to happen. Magic, we're really interested. They weren't even talking to you. They answered the phone out of respect for Magic Johnson because of who he is. And that's it. But they gave you no indication we're doing this deal. That is good faith. And there was no reason for the Pelicans to do it. They're not just wishing on the star Boston's going to make an offer. Danny ain't just telling them, hold up. We got a lot more to give you, and we might just do it. The Knicks, well, you're right. If they don't, guess what? I can get that Lakers.
No, it's not going to be there.
Really?
It will
Why not?
What? Right
when
now,
the Lakers get bounced in the second round, they're going to be, oh, no, we sticking with this?
Jennings, listen, you know negotiations. The Lakers are bidding against themselves right now. In the summer, if the Celtics cannot offer Tatum, which nobody thinks they're going to offer, they're going to put together a poo-poo platter, your phrase, Jaylen Brown and Marcus Morris, Terry Rozier. They're going to offer something like that, and then the Lakers are going to pull back. Well,
why would the Lakers pull back?
We overpaid
LeBron
now.
James is not going to be as impatient.
He's getting
as he is
older.
now.
Why on
you
earth
think he
would
wants
you
to wait
offer
till his 18th season to get Anthony Davis?
No way.
He's going to be like,
There
get
is
him now.
Zero chance their Lakers are offering that. Listen, by the way, I want to go back.
Oh, wait a minute.
You
Wait a
said,
minute.
hold on,
Wait a
wait.
minute.
You said Kuzma and these guys didn't play well without LeBron, okay? D'Angelo Russell was with the Lakers for his first 2 years. They were not a good team, okay? They trade him all. He's nothing special. 2 years later, he's an all-star, and the Brooklyn Nets are in the playoffs in the East. This idea that players cannot improve. Kuzma's already at 18 a game. He's going to get better. Ingram's 16, 4 and 4. He's going to improve. Lonzo, he can't shoot. We know that. He's going to get better. He's 21. Players improve as they go. This idea that those guys are not great now,
some players do.
in 2 years later, they're not going to be. That's crazy, Chris.
Is you expect the Pelicans, this would be to me like your wife coming in to you and telling you, I'm out of here, pack up the loading truck with all my stuff and drive me to my new boyfriend's house. That's exactly what you're asking the Pelicans to do. Why in the world would they do that? It's not going to be good for their business, and Chris is right. That Laker deal is not going anywhere. And you know what? The Knicks might get the #1 pick.
A lot of mites here.
But whenever you add more people to the pot, there's a chance the price is going to go up even more. Why are you forced? And here's the other part you're not thinking. If they don't get the deal they want, you know what they could do? They still have them for one more year. If they wanted to, they could just say, we're going to play it out. You'll stay here one more year, and if you want to go. And remember this.
And lose him for nothing?
Remember this.
Well, they could trade him before the deadline.
You're going to be an NBA GM
in the second year. And remember, Brett Favre wanted to go to the Minnesota Vikings from Green Bay. And the Packers said, no way, no how are we going to trade you there. And you know where they traded him? To the AFC and to the Jets. He wound up going on his own after, the next year, but in no way should the Pelicans help the Lakers at all.
They're helping themselves, but go ahead.
No,
you're chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
I'm not even chomping at the bit because everybody is biting off your rear already. when you say that, point blank, the Pelicans can do whatever they want to do. They obviously did what they wanted to do, what was most beneficial for them. Why would they just give away a player to help another team and then leave themselves with nothing?
So Kuzma and those guys, 6 players and 2 picks is nothing.
First of all, I don't want 6. Honestly, I don't need 6 players.
Right.
Because you're basically building my team for me. And I'm going to have to try to get something for these guys. And they haven't proven that they're worth anything right now, which is why they're getting ushered out from the Los Angeles Lakers. When I'm looking at what the Pelicans did, they understand we have the commodity. We are in control of everything right now.
They have what the Lakers desperately need.
Exactly. So why would I just give it to you when I'm not willing to see what's out there that I can possibly get for this? To your point, Rob, the Lakers have already offered us this. We know what they're willing to do. They probably will try to do even more because LeBron doesn't have that window to wait. So everybody else,
the clock is ticking on
LeBron. It benefits me
LeBron.
to sit back and say, you know what? No, we're not going to do anything right now because everybody else is going to come to the plate and they're going to place their bids on the table as well.
And
Jason, you brought up the league. If LeBron doesn't make the playoffs, that's bad for the league. if Anthony Davis is booed on national TV.
That's embarrassing.
That's not New Orleans' responsibility to make sure LeBron gets in the playoffs. You brought it from a league standpoint, yeah. It would have been much better if AD had gone to the Lakers. And now we got this huge storyline of LeBron and AD. Can they topple Golden State? But that's not the Pelicans' responsibility.
And here's the other part. Here's the other part. The Pelicans, you don't think that they are mad by the whole thing. Here's a team that a year ago, with Anthony Davis, right, went and swept Portland, won a game against Golden State. They're offering him $240 million guaranteed, and he's walking out on them. So my reaction is supposed to be, oh, yeah, okay, this is horrible. You're in a horrible situation. I understand why you want to leave.
And
how could you even look at it that way?
Well, that's what you guys are underestimating. Anthony Davis dumped his agent to go with LeBron's agent. He wants to be a Laker, okay? I know you guys are going to say, well, Kawhi Leonard wanted this. Paul George wanted this. Okay, there's a reason he picked Clutch Sports. And you know this well, Broussard. What LeBron and Rich Paul want, they usually get. Anthony Davis will be a Laker this summer.
That's fine. He just didn't have to be a Laker before the deadline. Well, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they can't make the trade this summer.
Okay, so back to your point.
Can't come as a free agent.
On the Pelicans, they're 21st in attendance, okay? The Smoothie Center's empty. It's a ghost town already. They got a bunch of
bringing in Kuzma and Lonzo with the
Well, again, here's the thing. You get new guys who are on rookie contracts. The fans can get to know them. They're going to be there at least 3 or 4 more years. So you get a look of them for 25 games. How can we adjust around them in the summer? You could have had a window to get this team better. The Lakers are already doing that, but the Pelicans really bricked here, Chris. I'm telling you, we're going to be on here this summer. Jamie, we're going to be on here this summer, and I'm telling you, when they say, Danny Ainge says, nah, no Tatum, here's what you got. And they're like, whoa, this isn't the offer we thought were coming.
Then fine, we'll go back to the Lakers.
And the Lakers will say, we'll give you 2 of. The Knicks are amazing.
I don't need
gotta
6
get the
of these 35-win Lakers. I'm sorry. I don't.
I love how they're a 35-win Laker.
No, you know what? They're 6-12, actually.
On
when you say LeBron James.
night, they were 4th in the West. When
With
they were
LeBron!
Healthy, they lost Rondo. LeBron missed more games this season than ever. Lonzo Ball's injured.
That's
Rondo's missed a ton of games. They're not good when they're not healthy.
Rodney Hood, George Hill, Kyle Korver, they look good around LeBron.
And LeBron took them to the finals.
But they were 4-23 without him.
And LeBron got to the finals.
So do I want those guys without LeBron?
No, you don't.
So do I want these Lakers without LeBron? Not necessarily.
So what do you want? You want Jaylen Brown and Marcus Morris and those cast-offs
No, I
from Boston?
want my best offers. And you're right, if Boston or New York doesn't better it, fine. I can get that Lakers offer or something
But
close
here's the thing. You
later.
just said that, Chris. If those 2 teams are out, Boston and New York, what is that Lakers offer going to be? You're bidding against yourself.
No, it's
Why
not.
are you offering 6 guys and 2 picks?
You know what? Like Rob said, the Lakers can wait. You can have another mediocre season next year with LeBron.
So the Pelicans are not going to trade him at all.
They could. I mean, if they don't get and then wait till the trade deadline.
If the Lakers really trying to sniff me,
I guess that's what you get when you have football people running the front office in New Orleans. Like, just a clueless operation down there.
Man.
I mean, just send the franchise to Seattle.
You're thinking
Get him out
as
of
a
here.
fan.
Exactly.
As a fan, I want to see AD with LeBron, and we all do.
No.
But that's not how you think.
That's not how you run business.
Right. And
It
it's a
doesn't make
business.
good business sense
And if
for
you're
the
the Pelicans trying to sell that to fans, you let the Lakers punk you and take your best player, and you gave you the scraps that LeBron doesn't even want. I'm gonna go buy that, buy tickets for that.
I mean, listen, you are truly thinking like a fan. I need you to stop doing that because you're talking about what LeBron James wants and Rich Paul want they get. That's exactly why Dell Demps is like, not today.
Not today.
Not today. Because it doesn't work like it's not that easy.
Dell Demps will be a guest on this show next season because he's going to be unemployed. He's going to get fired.
That would have happened either way.
That's right.
Honestly,
why not do the deal?
He could do the deal and still be in the same
This
situation.
is a disaster.
Because then they would say,
He does-
you
NBA,
traded
the
that guy for these guys.
Exactly. You gave away Anthony Davis for this?
Right.
Not to mention, to be honest, we all talking about Dell Demps. Dell Demps wasn't really making this decision. This was coming from above him.
Ownership.
And they care more about the Saints than they do the Pelicans. We know that.
But they did, this was the right thing. Like I said, maybe AD will get traded to the Lakers in the summer. We all hope that. But No. Why rush? There was no rush.
Are you sorry you came, Jason?
No, I'm excited to get a victory in my first appearance
victory.
today.
You on the hot seat.
1-0, baby.
Hey, where's the barbecue sauce? Let me pour it on you.
And go put a tie on.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on, I gotta change it up.
Show some
Jennings.
respect when you come up here.
We'll keep the NBA discussion going in the next one. Is Russell Westbrook getting enough credit for his triple-double streak? We'll discuss that coming up next. The Thunder came back from 26 points down to beat the Rockets Saturday, including 45 points from Paul George. But the real story was Russell Westbrook. Russ made history with his 9th straight triple-double, tying Wilt for the all-time NBA record. Russ has been criticized for shooting a near-career low 41% from the field, but he is still on pace to average a triple-double for the 3rd straight year. Once again, Jason McIntyre joining us for another round. But we are going to start this one with you, Chris. He's celebrating already.
Celebrating what?
Right.
Feels good to be right.
Surviving.
Feels good to be right.
Swaying and surviving.
Bruce, let's start with you. Do you think that Russell's getting enough credit for this triple-double streak?
I don't think he is. I do not think he is. Him averaging a triple-double the last 3 years is the greatest statistical feat in modern NBA history. I would even say it's probably the most impressive statistical feat since Wilt Chamberlain averaged 45 points and 24 rebounds in 1963 and averaged 50 and 26 the year before. Like, what Russell Westbrook is doing is phenomenal. Nobody, not a player, not Hubie Brown, Jerry West, some of the greatest minds, nobody thought it was possible in today's NBA for a guy to average a triple-double for an entire season. No, and all the great players that have been stat stuffers, LeBron, Magic Johnson, Jason Kidd, none of them have done it. And if it was so easy, why isn't anybody doing it now other than Russell Westbrook? When we usually look at great statistical feats nowadays, you always hear one of two terms. So-and-so did this. It's the first time since the merger of the ABA and NBA in 1976, or post-merger. That's because Wilt Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson put up numbers that are cartoonish by today's standards. Like, there's no way anybody's touching half of Wilt Chamberlain's records. And here comes Russell Westbrook doing it. I mean, tied him now with the 9 straight triple-doubles, averaging that for 3 straight seasons. Russell Westbrook, he's not the best player in the world. He's certainly not this year. The best player on this team has been Paul George, and he wasn't the best player for most of his career because Kevin Durant was there. But this dude is an iconic figure, and years from now, people are going to be looking back at that Russell Westbrook, man. He averaged a triple-double 3, 4 straight seasons, whatever it ends up being, and he's going to be an icon. He's not getting enough credit.
Yeah. Chris, that was well said. I disagree with a lot of it. But I guess I'll start here. Russell Westbrook deserves more credit, but not for the triple-doubles. But, Chris, for taking a backseat to Paul George and knowing I'm not the best player on this team. The self-awareness from Russell Westbrook
this season. I'm not sure he knows that.
No, he knows it.
No,
he's
21, 11, and 11,
yeah, but
you
he's
could argue
taking
he's still
fewer shots.
Right, he's sharing the ball.
And I think self-awareness, he deserves credit. I've beat up Russell Westbrook on the shows here at FS1 a lot. He's blocked me on social media, whatever. I got nothing against the guy. What I'm saying is...
me and Westbrook have something in common.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I do like how Westbrook is taking a backseat to Paul George, who's the best player on that team. The triple-double streak...
You call it a backseat, though. Like
he's the number 2. Russell Westbrook is the Robin to Paul George's Batman, okay? Russell Westbrook, we know he's a stat patter. I get it. But don't triple-doubles feel a little archaic? I mean,
no, because who else is averaging?
Well, here's the thing. The pace has picked up in the league. The usage rate
through
the roof. More shots. I mean, nobody wants to just try to get every rebound. Russell Westbrook's like, let me make this my thing. He's become Mr. Triple-Double. I got no problem with that. That's great, but is it that impressive? What's more impressive, Chris, is the fact that they're probably a better team with him shooting less and deferring to Paul George. They're probably going to win a round in the playoffs this year because he's taken a back seat. He averaged a triple-double the last 2 years. They didn't get out of the first round. This year, with Paul George as the Batman, they're going to get out of the first round.
For me, I think it's phenomenal what he's doing, and he's not getting enough credit. And when you look at it, you talk about taking the back seat, that's credit right there. The fact that he has enough self-awareness to take that back seat and focus on how can I make sure this team is thriving and we're successful as a whole, what can I do? It's this. This is what he can do. It's not put up all the shots. It's, okay, Paul George, I got a guy who can score, who is getting it done offensively. I can scale back, but I can pick it up in other areas that we need someone to pick it up in, and I'm that guy. And that's why I like what Russell Westbrook is doing, because everyone wants to talk about how selfish he is at times. This is unselfish. When you're willing to get rebounds and assists and get everybody involved, how is that selfish? Yeah, he was putting up a lot of shots, but now he isn't. I love what Russell Westbrook doing, and I think we need to focus more on his selflessness and making sure everybody else is involved. And I'm doing what I finally should have been doing with KD. Waited a little late for that.
A little late.
But he's getting it done with Paul George. I love it.
I agree with you guys. It is a feat, but I think the reason that people aren't giving him as much credit or making a big deal about it is the old adage. It's like, I love ice cream, and then as soon as I start working at the ice cream factory, I don't eat it as much, or I don't like it as much. And in this case, when he first got the first triple-double, right, everybody was like, oh, my God, this hadn't happened in 50 years, and it was a celebration. The next year, if you remember, he gets the triple-double. No one knew it until the last 8 games. It kind of like snuck up on people. Then they said, well, if he gets this many rebounds and whatever, he'll average a triple-double. So that kind of came out of nowhere. And now this year, people have come to expect it almost. This is what he does. This is how he plays now. So it's not as, and it takes nothing away from what he's accomplished, but I think that's why people aren't that crazed over it or give him as much credit for doing it.
But think about what you're saying. He has made the triple-double ho-hum.
No, it is. That's what I'm saying.
He's made the triple-double. And when LeBron was just playing when they played Philadelphia.
No doubt.
And the announcers are talking about he's averaged a triple-double since he's been back. That's 2 games. Yeah. I mean, and this dude is doing it for 3 straight years. And I get, again, I'm not saying he's the best player in the league or anything like that, but what he's doing is phenomenal.
So, Chris, I get it, and I give all that. He plays harder than anybody in the league.
He doesn't cheat you, and I love that.
Well, you know where he cheats you? When he's shooting the basketball. He's having his worst shooting year, I believe, since his rookie year, 41% from the field. You know he's shooting 24% on threes? 24%. Lonzo's better than that, okay? This guy knows where his bread is buttered. I can play hard and get rebounds and passes. He's just not a shooter.
He's trying to win, Jason.
I was just about to say,
let me get rebounds.
Where are they at?
Triple-double.
And that was the best part about his triple-double.
Third, almost second in the West.
His first year that he did it, they had a great record when he got triple-double, so it wasn't like he's just static, patting his
And they lost in the first round of the playoffs.
No, but I'm just saying, but they were winning.
The first year, he didn't have much. It was when KD left that he even averaged a triple-double because he needed to do more. And as Rob said, over these 3 years, when he gets a triple-double,
they win.
The record is phenomenal.
And then, remember, last year, he was still battling with Paul George in that first-round series against the Jazz. I believe Russ took somewhere around 40 shots in one of the final games of the series. And then finally, in the offseason, he realized, I'm not a good shooter. I can't shoot the basketball, okay? Let me defer to Paul George. So let's just not give him all the credit for the triple-doubles, but also the self-awareness, as we talked about.
He's playing a better floor game.
I'm not a good shooter. Let's go to Paul George.
He's playing a better floor game. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's looking to pass, not just to Paul George.
Because he can't shoot.
To all this. Look, I mean, Jason Kidd couldn't shoot till the end of his career.
And he was a triple-double machine.
And he went to the Hall of Fame.
Right. I mean,
Russ is going to the Hall of Fame.
Nobody's saying Russ is a great shooter. And look, 41%. His career average is like 43%. I mean, it's not like he's falling from 48% to 41%. Allen Iverson shot 41% and less a lot of years. Like, there are guys that, like you said, they're not great shooters. A lot of guys have shot this percentage.
Yeah. You lost again.
No, how is that a loss? I'm just saying, the triple-doubles are great, Chris. They're wonderful. They look good. Nobody's done it in the modern era. Whoop-de-damn-do. All we care about is
whenever you do something, whenever you do something that no one in the history
your guy in Detroit, his guy in Detroit,
And
Matthew
they're
Stafford's throwing for 5,000 yards. Woo! Everybody
But they
loves
don't
that.
win, though. That's the difference.
They're
That's what I'm
winning
trying to
because
say. They don't-
Westbrook is winning.
They're not winning
They
because of
win.
the triple doubles. They're winning because of
Didn't
Paul
you say their
George,
record
who's an
when he
MVP
gets the triple
candidate.
doubles is great?
It was great the first year.
It is this year, too.
It's all right, but
when
Paul
they get
George
triple
is
doubles.
Paul George is an MVP candidate.
No, George is playing great.
He's a top 5. They're winning because of Paul George. Admit it and give it to me now.
They're winning because of both of them, plus Steven Adams,
Yes.
Jeremy Grant. They've all picked up their games. And that's a credit to Westbrook, too.
It is really all a credit to Westbrook because even when he was doing this and they weren't winning when it counted, the number one narrative was Russell Westbrook, he has to take less shots. He has to, and he's finally doing it.
That
Give
point
the
I
man
agree
the
with.
credit.
I'm giving him credit. Listen, I'm a Russell Westbrook
No, you're
fan.
giving him the credit because he
plays
can't
hard.
shoot.
Right,
So
right.
he
You keep
he
throwing
can't
that
shoot.
out.
I mean, I want to be balanced. I'm
I don't
fair
know,
and
Russell,
balanced
you sound like
here
you're
on the show.
anti-Russell Westbrook.
Right.
I don't. He's a nice player.
Who are you, Colin Cowherd now?
No. Come on. I mean,
That's
he's
his
no Steph
shit.
Curry, but Russell Westbrook is a great basketball player.
He's averaging
So
a triple double.
you said it.
Yeah.
So you admitted you
I'd rather have
you got
Kevin Durant.
schooled
But
on this
no,
one.
I did not.
Jason, thank you.
Sorry.
Thanks for
Hey,
coming on,
thank
taking
you.
the abuse for a little bit.
I love it. Bring it on. I like these odds, Jamie. We'll
him
do
with
this
the
again
pool
soon,
foul.
gentlemen.
Coming up, are the Lakers going to miss the playoffs after suffering another blowout loss on the road? Former NBA star Cuttino Mobley is going to join us for that discussion next.
No mercy.
So the Lakers had a huge win in Boston last week, but it didn't carry over yesterday against the Sixers. LeBron was an assist shy of a triple-double, and Kyle Kuzma dropped 39, but they were still blown out 143-120. The Lakers' defense continued to struggle, and it's the second time this season they've allowed 143 points. Joel Embiid led the way for Philly with 37 points, 14 boards. The Lakers are now 2.5 games out of a playoff spot in the West with just 26 games left. All right, guys, we are joined in the studio by former NBA guard Cuttino Mobley. So, Cuttino, we'll start with you on this one. Are you worried about the Lakers missing the playoffs?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm going to tell you why. You still have LeBron James. And you,
Hold on, wait. Say that one more time.
You still have LeBron James.
Say it to him.
As long as he's alive with them sneaks on. Them white and black sneakers he be wearing right now. I mean, LeBron James is phenomenal. You're in 10th place right now, am I correct?
Yeah.
And you're only 2.5 games out. It's not like the 6th seed, 7th, 8th seed, or 7 or 8 games above you. You still have LeBron James. You have a chance in life. And yeah, okay. The expectations of the Lakers right now for people, it's hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Okay, cool. LeBron James gets hurt. You're in 4th place. It drops down to 10. They didn't play as well. They're young. I understand all that. Now that he's back, I just think that LeBron's he's going to figure it out, and those guys are going to be right there with him. Yeah, they had a brain fart last night. I mean, okay.
Last night, did you watch the Indiana game?
Well, did you watch the Boston Celtics game?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, they won.
And it took a great shot by a guy who never makes great winning shots. All I'm saying to
a great
you
shot.
is,
He's a gamer.
No, but he's not.
Rajon
That's
Rondo's
his
a
first
gamer.
game-winning shot ever in his NBA
It doesn't
career.
matter. Better late than never. He is a gamer. Rajon, is he not a gamer?
Yeah, but I'm saying that it
Did he
took
not
that
affect
shot.
that game? Did he
Sure
affect the
did.
game? Okay,
but
there
here's
we
my
go.
point, and I hear you. It's easy to sit out here and pick LeBron James to make the playoffs. Half the league makes the playoffs. I get that. But let's take a real look at this team. I don't trust the team that he has. I don't trust those guys. Because when LeBron was out, they went 6-12. They lost at home to the Knicks. They lost at home to the Cavaliers.
Okay.
And since LeBron has come back, it hasn't been that smooth. They still got hurt because they were all going to be dealt for AD. I'm telling you, the Lakers
I think
are
they're
in
past
trouble.
that. I think they're
the Lakers
past
are in
that.
trouble from
I think
this
they're
standpoint.
past that as young guys. I think they're past that whole mental aspect where I'm going to get traded. I can't put my 100%. It's gone now. You can forget about
But
it.
here's it. They have painted themselves into such a corner. They have very little wiggle room.
What corners? 2.5 games back.
What was the difference last year, Cuttino, between the 3rd seed and the 8th seed
But
last
They
year?
didn't have
Do you know
LeBron
what it
James.
was?
That's
no,
the
I'm asking you,
difference.
what was the difference in games? Do you know?
Yeah, what?
It was
a
2
few
games.
A few
Rob,
games.
That 2.5 games is a lot in the Western Conference.
Now think about this. It's
say
LeBron
that-
James now.
Right, and you say
And
that.
they were out of the playoffs with LeBron James.
You say that as if that supports your argument that there's only 2 games difference between the 3rd seed and the 8th seed. That actually supports what we're saying.
saying.
It makes it easier
Yes.
for him to climb
Yes.
up.
It doesn't make it easier.
Because
it's harder.
the 2 teams in front of them right now, the LA Clippers, let me tell you about the Clippers. You had your shot. Let me tell you about them. They don't even want to make the playoffs.
So they've lost in Boston because they didn't want to.
Because if they
won that game in Boston.
If they make
So you
the
think the Clippers are
playoffs,
gonna-
they lose their 1st round pick this year. They won a lottery pick, so they don't want to make the playoffs. They just traded their leading scorer.
why did they
and
win the game
another
in Boston?
It's the
who's the All-Star?
NBA.
Why did
It's
they
the
win?
NBA. Strange things happen. Why did the Lakers beat Golden State on
What
Christmas
do you
Day?
mean? Why
Does
did
it
they
mean
win
they're
in Boston?
better?
Because they
No.
scored more.
No, but
that's
the
why
point is that they're trying to lose the whole
They're
on to their
not-
pick.
look,
No,
Why
they're
would they
not.
win a game that they're down 28?
Rob,
That makes no sense.
No,
Chris-
be serious, Rob. They're not telling their players to go out there and lose. Those guys have pride. Doc Rivers is coaching them to try to win every game. They're going to win some games here and there that they shouldn't. But they have depleted the team so that they lose. All right? They're going to lose. Sacramento's young. They're not ready. You betting on that. You are. You said it earlier. You're betting on Marvin Bagley and De'Aaron Fox and the rest of these young kids over LeBron
I'm
James.
betting against LeBron James and the Cosby kids. Those are the guys
Those
that they have.
Cosby kids were the 4th seed when he was healthy.
Those Cosby kids
I
all
love the
play
Cosby
well.
kids.
Did you like
I'm
that?
from Philadelphia. So
They
cut
were
that
the
out.
4th seed, Rob, when LeBron was healthy.
That was eons ago. We're talking about the here and now.
What do you mean
talking about now.
eons?
They're not good.
He said from 3 to 8, right?
Was it 2?
The difference was 2 games. Now check this out. They didn't have LeBron James. So right now, from 4th to 10th, it's like a 4 game.
Right.
Didn't have LeBron last year when that situation happened. You have LeBron right now. So for the next 26 games, you're going to trust the Sacramento Kings and the Los Angeles Clippers over LeBron James.
I just saw LeBron James, who
Whatever you
played,
eat in the morning,
get
I want
blown
it.
out
Rob,
in Indiana
he
and get blown out in
you're a
Philadelphia.
prisoner
I
of
want
the moment.
You can't name Indiana.
You're a
That's when the
prisoner of the
trade
moment.
happened. That's when they were
Right.
psychologically
You
messed
are
up.
taking.
They
You
didn't even
are
have
taking.
Oladipo on the team, and they got blown
You
out.
are
LeBron
taking-
did
They
that
just
day.
won again. They just won again.
They're not going to
without
fall off
Oladipo.
without Oladipo. They are a balanced.
They just
team.
won again without Oladipo.
You're taking
They're a really
a
good team.
3 games. This is what you're doing. You're taking a 3-game stretch, okay, with all the issues, LeBron's health, the player's mindset, all that. Over 15 years of play? That's what you're doing.
LeBron is now
Let's
in
take
the
LeBron's
Western
track
Conference,
record
not the
versus 3.
Eastern.
That's like
the
you know
Eastern
what that's like, Chris? I was listening to that's like betting against Tom Brady and Belichick.
He did that too.
You gonna bet against that man?
He did
They
that
don't
too.
go together.
Give him that look.
man.
Give him that look. Give him that look.
Yeah.
Give him that look.
Right.
Jeez Louise, man.
No, the Lakers will make the playoffs. And Rob, you need to stop this.
Stop, Rob.
You need to stop because we know who they are when they are understanding what they have to do with LeBron James and they figure it out and they get it done. They were the 4th seed with LeBron James after figuring out how to play, what we look like with him in our lineup, and finding their role. That's who they were. Then they have to play this transitional period without LeBron James. So now we have to live and survive life without him. Our game looks different. We're going to all try to get our own now. ISO ball. Game looked completely different. LeBron James now come back. Now we got to get back to what we were doing, get out of what
They don't defend. They're not going to.
They've been one of the better defensive teams in the league for most of the season.
He just got back, and he's only 2.5 games out. And you're sitting here saying with 26 games left, there's no way he can make up that 2.5
I didn't say
games.
there's no way. I don't believe that they will be able to hang
You're
on to
saying
it.
no, he's
Saying
not.
they're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, you're massaging it.
I don't
you
know.
like massaging.
Yeah, now
I'm
you
not-
backing
like
up.
massaging.
You
No,
backing
I'm not.
up.
I'm telling you, I don't believe they're going to make the playoffs. I don't
Okay,
trust-
so you're
I
saying
don't
they-
trust the guys that he has, that LeBron has
Why
to
were
play
they the
with.
4th seed with
Because
LeBron?
that
Those
was
same
early
guys.
on.
That was 3 months into the
They had
season.
only played a few games at
A
that
few
point. It wasn't
games?
enough. It wasn't
It
enough.
was a month and a half ago.
Right.
No, it was longer than that.
No,
a
it
month
was
and a half
Christmas
ago.
Day.
About
All I
Christmas.
know is this team, they're 3-7 in their last 10, 12 and
LeBron
19
didn't play
against
most
teams.
of those.
Yeah, there you
No,
go.
you got to play with who you have, and
He's-
LeBron's
he's-
been back.
you have
They
him,
lost 2 or 3 games since LeBron came back. Is that a good record? I'm asking you. LeBron lost 2 out of 3.
There were reasons for. First of
I like-
all,
I like
Philadelphia
how
is
you
a very
doing that.
good
That's
team.
really good.
Yeah.
Because you're
yeah.
stating facts with the 3 and 7.
Those
But
are
it's a
numbers.
butterfly effect behind all of what you're talking about.
Right.
Ooh,
Boy, you're
Coutinho.
good.
You
Rob,
are a
you're really
prisoner of
good.
the moment.
I
Admit
like
it,
how
Rob.
you're doing
I want to
that.
hear you on
Right?
national
The fact
TV
is they
say,
are 3
I
and
am a
7, but the
prisoner.
butterfly
I'm not.
effect, he's not even.
I'm just
He's not
trying to-
mentioning the butterfly effect. I don't understand it.
I'm just giving you
You're
guys that
good,
this
boy.
team.
I like that.
If I'm LeBron, I'm concerned. This is why they panic to try to get AD. They know this team is not good enough. They know it.
To win
the
what?
championship.
Yeah, they know that.
They're scared that
They're
they
good
might
enough to
not
go to the
make the
playoffs.
playoffs.
They're good enough to go to the playoffs.
Are they? And lose in the first round?
Well, they.
Well, does it really matter? They ain't been there in 6 years.
I get that, but they have LeBron now, and now
The
he doesn't have
expectations
enough.
are for
So
them
who
to
they got
be
right
there.
now? Who they got?
Who?
No, you
LeBron?
just said, there you go. So that's where they go in the playoffs. That's why they go in the
Did
playoffs.
LeBron play the last 3 games?
Prisoner
Yes,
of
he
the
did.
moment.
Yes, he did.
Did he play
Yes,
the
he did.
last
Tripped
15
up.
seasons? Did you
Tripped
see
up,
anything
too.
then?
Tripped up, too.
Did you
Yeah.
see
Tripped
anything the
up.
last
Right.
15
They win or
seasons
lose?
from him?
They won one of them.
Okay.
The expectation is for the Lakers to be there. When LeBron came to the Lakers, people are talking about them playing in the finals, right? That was the conversation.
Not the
I
first
didn't
year.
say finals.
Not the
no.
first year.
Not
said
a-
53
not the first year.
wins.
I said 50. If LeBron had stayed healthy, they would have had.
But LeBron,
You
right,
said
he was
when I
on,
say if,
missed
but he
17
was
games.
on, but Chris was on mark.
Right. They were on
LeBron
that close
James
to that.
missed
weren't
how
on
many
that
games?
mark. They were never on
17.
that mark.
He missed 17 games. So you mean to tell me they wouldn't have went above 500 those 17 games?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I'm not sure.
Boy, you something else. Ain't you?
You
are
got a crystal
something
ball,
else.
you know
you
for
are,
sure.
You are something else.
If that's the case, LeBron would have won all 3 of these
No,
games
you
once
know
he
what the
came
crystal,
back,
you know what
right?
the crystal ball is?
What?
Where Cleveland is 4 in the 1,000 right now.
that's all right.
And LeBron
Right.
right there, and if he was there with that same team, they'd be in the playoff
Finals.
hunt.
Is that how it works?
That's
Yeah, that's
exactly
how it
worked
works.
for the last 16
We've
years.
all watched it.
Let me ask you this. How fractured internally is a locker room when almost all of your team was put on the trade table for Anthony Davis? It obviously fell through. How long does it take to recover from that? Because these are young guys, and they're, I don't want to say fragile because that doesn't sound like the right word, but it's a little bit different when
But
you're
they're
dealing
human, though.
with young,
They-
right, exactly. They're human. So how much? I mean, okay, let's. The West is so stacked and so tight. Let's say the Lakers get in, but how much damage is done with the guys that are remaining that thought that they were gone?
I just think, listen, we young, at one point in time we came into the league, whether it's NFL or NBA, it's your first punch in the face. You get over it. You're done. Magic spoke to you. LeBron, I'm sure, spoke to you. There's guys that's been in a situation, and maybe not a trade like that at a young age, like a Magic or a LeBron, but they've had friends or peers that have been traded. So I didn't go through that in Houston. You know, I was fortunate enough to have Rudy Tomjanovich believe in me, and Steve Francis and I didn't have to think about that. But I had guys on that team that were a little distraught, right? Psychologically, it does a lot to you because you're literally the guy. Then when you come to the NBA, you're not the guy anymore. You're not a LeBron James. You're not a Joel Embiid. You're not those guys. So your psyche, when this happens to you, your psyche is telling you, wow, am I good enough or am I not good enough? Like, do they love me or do they not love me? You get like that, like a little kid again. Mm-hmm. Now that it's over, you have 26 games to just play because they can't trade you. They can't do anything now. I think those guys will be fine, but during that Indiana game, weeks before that, it's still in your head. I can't give you 100% if I have doubt in nothing in life. Mm-hmm. So why would you want me to play free when I know Harrison Barnes? Right. I'm sitting on the bench looking like I don't even where my parents go. I don't even know where my parents at now. My parents said they love me, but then they trade me. That's how you feel as a young guy. I just think now it's over. I think these guys, all right, I just got punched in the face. You know, it's a business. Let's just go forward. That's what I think. I think they'll be fine.
Forward to the playoffs.
Yeah,
They're
there we
one
go.
bad loss in Atlanta to having to struggle to make the playoffs or be out of it. Remember what I told you. One bad loss to a bad team.
I remember what you told me.
Okay?
Of course.
Remember
That
what
New
I
England
told
couldn't
you.
reach the Super Bowl. I
Remember
remember
that.
It's supposed to be over in Mexico.
Yeah, how about that?
Coutinho, thank you for being here.
Thanks for
Good
having
Don't
me.
see
listen to
you.
these two. They don't know what to say.
Does Aaron Rodgers get a bad rap for being a bad teammate? We're going to ask his former teammate, Greg Jennings, next.
No mercy.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is arguably the best QB in the game, but his leadership was recently called out. Former tight end Jermichael Finley said Rodgers would often ignore Mike McCarthy's play calls, and former receiver Jeff Janis said that he's too negative to his teammates. Despite all of that, the recently retired Julius Peppers called Rodgers a, quote, all-time great player and teammate. So, Greg, you won a Super Bowl with Aaron. You shared a locker room with him for several years. Do you think that he catches too much heat for his leadership skills?
And you ripped him.
I did. Absolutely. No, I don't. And I'm not so. We can throw out the Jermichael quote. We can throw out even the Julius Peppers, because what I want people to understand is when you're in the locker room, you're all a team. You see each other face to face, everybody. But once you go into the meeting rooms, now you break up. Now it's offense, defense. Now, once we watch that film, I'm not critical of you or you're not critical of me. So Julius Peppers is kind of out of that equation right now. And so he's never had to really sit in a meeting room with Aaron Rodgers and be either the reason why or why not something didn't happen. But Jeff Janis, when I listen to a guy who just was in the locker room with you recently, and he's saying things like, you know, he's too negative to his teammates. And some may say, oh, yeah, Jeff Janis, you got to toughen up. You got to get some thicker skin. Yeah, no, when somebody's saying you're being too negative, that means you're not being positive at all. Like, what good are you getting out of me if you're not going to even – you're the guy. We need you to be the guy. But you are talking down on me, and I'm all you have right now. And I don't like when I hear people say it. I said it when I was walking out of the door of Green Bay Packers. I said that his leadership skills weren't what everybody thought they were, and I got huge flack behind it. But now we're seeing guys say this same thing.
Are you vindicated now?
No, I didn't have to be.
I'm asking.
I didn't have to be. What I said was what I felt and what I believed to be true. And what these guys are saying is what they feel and what they believe to be true. So hearing Julius Peppers call Aaron Rodgers one of the all-time great teammates, absolutely. I can see why he would say that. Again, he's not in that meeting room. He's not getting the full dosage of Aaron Rodgers.
But isn't it also just what he experienced when he was around him?
Of course.
So that's all he can base it off of.
It's all he can base it off of.
And then don't you also got to realize that you, because of the position you play and that you need Aaron Rodgers to get you the football, you can look at him in a different way because he affects your paycheck, he affects your play, he affects whether or not, you know what I mean? Things happen for you. So you're going to look at him differently than somebody else. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Right. And I just think that there's so much nitpicking at Aaron Rodgers. He's a great player. He's not perfect. Is he the best personality? I'm not in the locker room with him, but I'm just saying, it's easy for guys
Have
now.
you covered Aaron Rodgers?
I've been around him a little bit. I've never covered him like as a beat reporter, but I've talked to him a number of times after games in Detroit, just as conversation. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. I'm not saying like I have some sort of text friendship with him or anything like that. So I've been around him a little bit. And he comes across the way that I've always seen him when I watch him on television.
In commercials.
No, I'm just saying.
I mean, right.
No, but I mean, like, when I watch his demeanor, like, in a game, or that's how he comes across to me. All I'm saying is it's easier. These things are easier to say. Now, when you said it was a little different because he wasn't hurt or on a downside or struggling. Now, when a player gets hurt, it's easier to take shots at people and say they're not all that they're cracked up to be because he's not looked at in the same light because they didn't make the playoffs. He struggled recently. He's been hurt a couple times. So I'm saying, when I look at that, if those things were said to me about Aaron Rodgers when he was winning an MVP and they were going to the playoffs and winning the division every year, I'd have more respect for him rather than when a guy's hurt and when a guy's not playing his best. I think it's easy to make those comments.
Well, first of all, look at the comment that Julius Peppers made. You made me think a Hail Mary pass was a 50-50 ball, or a chance you could win. Watching you was good. Like, he talked about his ability on the field. And anybody that's criticized Aaron Rodgers from you on down, nobody criticizes his ability. Like that, Julius Peppers didn't say he was great in the locker room. He was a great galvanizer.
He was a great teammate.
He was a great leader. But the context of that quote it looked more to me, it was pretty much all on you were a great player and you led us. And being on your team was fantastic because we always had a chance to win. I don't think Aaron Rodgers gets enough criticism for this. I don't think he gets much criticism at all. Most people, he's always in the commercials. We know that. One of only a handful of NFL players that is like that.
Come on, discount double check.
And he is regarded, a lot of people look at him and say he's the best thrower of the football.
No doubt
he's the
about
best
it.
quarterback at
You
the
said
position that they've ever seen. Even though he's only won one Super Bowl since 2000.
But that doesn't have anything to do with whether you could win a Super Bowl or whether you could throw the football.
No, but my point is there's no criticism. And even people now saying he has something to do with Mike McCarthy getting fired. That's not really a negative mark against you. Magic Johnson got a coach fired. But everybody thinks LeBron gets coaches fired. Jason Kidd got coaches fired. Like, he doesn't get criticized is my point. And to your point, Greg, what's the difference? Like, he's a great player, but Tom Brady has the intangibles. That's one of the big differences. Rodgers is better physically, but Brady's better as a leader.
Rodgers was catching some heat, though, last season, not getting a road win. So I kind of disagree.
I don't think much. A little criticism. That's not much.
Our next question
look at him.
might make Rob Parker's head fall off. Does Tom Brady deserve a statue at Michigan?
What?
Jim Harbaugh thinks so. We'll discuss that next. Please stay with us. Don't leave. Don't walk out.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Tom Brady recently won his 6th Super Bowl ring, but one thing he doesn't have is a statue. Well, Jim Harbaugh says the former Wolverine should in fact have a statue somewhere on campus. Brady was 20-5 and won 2 bowl games as the starting QB at Michigan. So, Rob, you spent years bashing both Harbaugh and Brady.
Oh, me?
So does Brady deserve a statue at Michigan?
No way, no how. This is typical Michigan, unless there's a 2-sided statue where Drew Henson is on the other side and it rotates.
Like a rotating head.
Exactly. I mean,
That's a
that's
good
going
one.
the other way. Think about this. Tom Brady was 30 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. They never won a national championship with Tom Brady. Why are you celebrating his NFL career? It's different now. If he wants to give money and have a building with his name on it, that's fine. He doesn't deserve it. And if they do it, this would be typical Michigan. I'm sorry you're paying tuition for your daughter there, but this is what they do. Bo Schembechler is the greatest football coach ever. Never won a national championship. Oh, Jim Harbaugh is the greatest coach ever. Hasn't even won a Big Ten yet. And now Tom Brady, they want to give him a statue for what? They haven't won anything. They didn't win anything at Michigan with Tom Brady.
It's for recruiting.
Right. Here's what.
Then let him make a video. There's no statue.
He is widely viewed as the greatest quarterback of all times. Colleges
Says who?
Says just about everybody but you. All right, colleges routinely honor alum who go on to do tremendous things. He should definitely have a statue there. And they were number 5 in his last year there.
Oh, my God, number 5. I can't believe it.
As if that,
Greg,
they
can you
gave
straighten
Bo
him out?
Schembechler a statue and a building, and he never won a national championship. To your point, yes, he deserves a statue.
If you giving Tom Brady a statue, where's Desmond Howard's and where's Charles Wilson's?
Is Desmond Howard viewed as the GOAT of anything?
I don't need to be, but Heisman Trophy and Super Bowl winner.
And one more,
both
Chris.
of them.
Let's give Chris
And
Webber a
defensive-
statue.
They're in
calling
the
time
museum.
out.
They're in
Let's
the
give-
little museum.
Let's give him a statue.
In the
Leave Steve
Schembechler
Webb
building.
alone.
No mercy.
February isn't just about one super-sized football game. On Spotify, there's thousands of free sports podcasts that agonize over the preseasons, off-seasons, and plain old regular seasons of nearly every sport imaginable. Basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, curling, and even hurling. Yeah, that's a real sport. Look it up. Now it's so easy to stay updated with the latest trade rumors, predictions, and scorching hot takes from some of your favorite game's biggest names. So take it one episode at a time and give 110% of your attention to the thousands of free sports podcasts on Spotify, because the best offense is a good podcast.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. We're back same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. See you guys then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.